Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Lord, starting with 2 talents, all races are confused. Chapter 1. Do you want to enter the endless continent? Listening to the mechanical prompt sound in his ear, Qin Feng took a deep breath. His eyes were filled with anticipation and a bit of solemnity. This day has finally come, Qin Feng murmured in his heart. In this world, everyone can activate the Lord's heart after adulthood, and then be teleported to the endless continent and own a territory of their own. Qin Feng has already prepared for this. But the reason why he still seems quite nervous. Because, Lord Talent, each Lord can only know what his Lord Talent is after entering the endless world. And the impact of the Lord's Talent is crucial. When he was in the War Academy, Qin Feng had heard from his instructor that among the entire human lords, the Flame Emperor who established the Red Flame Dynasty, had obtained the SSS level talent, Heart of Flame, at the beginning. And its effect is extremely powerful. It can make all recruited soldiers obtain full value of fire element affinity, and when using flame skills, the power is doubled. From this, he rose step by step and became one of the strongest people in the human race. On the contrary, if the Lord who awakened at the beginning was too weak in talent, he was born behind others, and it was even difficult to pass the assessment stage. In the end, his territory was conquered and he became a vassal of other lords, and he might even be completely destroyed by the dangers of the endless continent itself. As a time traveler, Qin Feng was naturally unwilling to accept this result. After all, in his previous life, he had lived a mediocre life. In this new world, he naturally wanted to stand at the top, master everything, money, power and beauty. Hope, good luck, he murmured in his heart. At this time, Qin Feng decisively responded to the prompt sound in his heart. The next moment, with a black screen in front of his eyes, when he regained his sight again, Qin Feng found that he had landed in a dense jungle. All around were tall trees over 100 meters tall, and the shrubs were taller than people. In the distance, there were bursts of wild beasts roaring from time to time. Don't dare to delay. At this time, Qin Feng hurriedly followed the steps learned in the academy. His mind moved. Communicate with the Lord's heart. Then, a prompt sounded. Do you want to place the territory here? Note, the Lord's heart is bound to the Lord's mansion. Once you choose to place it, you can't easily change the location. Yes, Qin Feng didn't hesitate. Now, he is alone, and it is absolutely impossible for him to cross the jungle in front of him to find other places as his territory. However, in Qin Feng's opinion, his luck is pretty good. At least, the area where he landed. The geographical environment seems pretty good at the moment. The surrounding vegetation is dense, which can all be converted into basic resources. The really unlucky ones are the lords who randomly land in areas like snowfields and dry land. The difficulty of development will be much higher. And at this moment, as Qin Feng made a choice, the next moment, a simple wooden house appeared in the open space in the jungle. At the same time, a circle of golden light shield, with the wooden house as the center, spread out to the surroundings, and finally included the area within 100 meters of the wooden house. This is one of the rules of the endless world. Give each new lord a 7-day novice protection. During these 7 days, no beasts or monsters can invade the light shield range. As the light shield emerged, at this time, Qin Feng's heart finally settled down. At least, he didn't have to worry about a wild beast suddenly jumping out of the bushes around him and ending his life directly. Next, it's time to check the Lord's talent. Qin Feng took a deep breath, and his mind moved at this time. The next moment, a very sci-fi panel appeared in front of him. Territory. Unnamed. Territory level. 1. Lord. Qin Feng. Soldiers. 0. Basic buildings. None. Current resources. 100. Lord Talent. War Frenzy, Miracle Civilization. Look at the talent list. Qin Feng's first reaction was a little confused. 2. Qin Feng murmured in his heart, unbelievable. He has been in this world for 3 years. And, in these 3 years, he happened to be studying at the War Academy, and he was excellent in all the assessments in the academy. Among them, in the theoretical courses he studied. It is very clear that every lord will awaken a talent after entering the endless world. There is only one, but now, he has 2. Could it be because I traveled through time? Is this my golden finger? This is the only explanation Qin Feng could think of. However, the doubt in his heart only lasted for a moment. The next moment, Qin Feng smiled. No matter what, this is a good thing. With some expectation. At this time, Qin Feng looked at the talent list. War Fever. Talent grade. A. Description. Eager for battle, bloodthirsty and fanatical. The combat level of your troops during combat is +3, and the territory production speed during combat is increased by 100%. Description. Growth talent. When enough results are achieved, the talent can be advanced. Current results. 0.50. It's actually a growth talent. Qin Feng's eyes were shining. He was a little disappointed when he saw that his talent was only A level. But after reading the overall information of the talent, this disappointment disappeared. This talent is mentioned in the textbooks of the War Academy. Extremely rare. The probability of appearance is extremely low. And because of its characteristic of needing growth, the advantage it brings at the beginning is not too great. But once it can grow, its strength is definitely not weak, even surpassing other talents of the same level. Among them, the textbook specifically mentions a powerful lord, Shui Tu, whose talent is growth. It is said that now with the bonus of his talent, all the soldiers under his command are blood furious. Not only all attributes are greatly improved, but they can even recover from injuries when attacking the enemy. It can be said to be both offensive and defensive. It is one of the strongest among the human lords today. The first talent is in line with expectations. What about the second one? Qin Feng looked at his second talent. Miracle Civilization. Grade. SSS. Description. The miracle of civilization. Like a shining star, you will get a miracle building at each stage. Current building. Mysterious Orchard. After reading the message, Qin Feng was confused. Miracle building. What is this? It's amazing. However, Qin Feng is a practical man. Now that he has understood the basic information about himself, he will not waste any more time. With a thought, the building panel appeared. Currently buildable, simple wooden house, lumberyard, fence, low-level training ground, simple cellar, mysterious orchard special. The building templates that come with the territory. They are all extremely basic types. Even if the territory is upgraded later, the number of building templates that can be unlocked will not be too many. To build truly advanced and special buildings, you need corresponding drawings. But for now, these buildings that can be built are enough to meet simple needs. Under normal circumstances, I should build 3 wooden houses and a lumberyard, and then use the remaining resources to recruit people in the territory. But first, let's take a look at what the so-called miracle building is. Qin Feng directly looked at the last column. Mysterious Orchard. Miracle Building. Unique. Construction cost. None. Construction time. None. Effect. This mysterious orchard will produce a strange fruit every day. Note: as the territory level increases, the building will be automatically upgraded. Surprisingly, no resources are consumed. Qin Feng smiled, and immediately selected the building without hesitation. Then, in front of him, a virtual 3D picture appeared like in the game. Next, you just need to place the building anywhere in the territory according to your thoughts. Although the area of the level 1 territory is not large, it is only 30 meters long and wide, that is, 900 square meters. But fortunately, the area of the mysterious orchard is not too large, and only a 4x4 range is needed. Soon, Qin Feng placed it next to his lord's hut. And as a white light dissipated, soon, a strange tree was generated out of thin air. And next to the tree, there was a circle of flowers and plants of different colors. That's it. Qin Feng was a little stunned. At this time, suddenly, a ray of lightning flashed between the trees. Then, a blue-purple fruit was formed on the tree. Ding! Today's mysterious fruit. Thunder fruit, do you want to pick it? Pick it. Qin Feng didn't need to do it himself. The fruit fell off automatically and flew towards Qin Feng. Until it fell into his hand. Qin Feng also saw its message clearly. Thunder fruit quality. SS effect. After taking it, you can master the power of thunder. If you master the power of thunder, the affinity of thunder element will be greatly improved. Qin Feng was shocked. I never expected that the so-called fruit produced by this mysterious orchard would be this kind of thing. SS level quality. What kind of concept is this? In the entire endless world, the grades of various items, like talents, are divided according to F, D, C, until SSS level. And SS level items. Normally, it is easy to imagine how difficult it is to obtain it. Almost only by completing various tasks, competitions, or killing super powerful monsters released by the Endless Continent from time to time can you get it. And now, this mysterious orchard has produced one. And, according to the saying, there is a chance to produce it every day. However, soon. That's not right. It's impossible to produce this level of spiritual fruit every day. Maybe today is a lucky day. After taking a deep breath, Qin Feng calmed down. Then, he put the thunder fruit into the package. He didn't plan to take it himself. First, in the early stage, he didn't plan to leave the territory. After all, safety was important, so he didn't need to fight in person. Second, Qin Feng was very curious. Since he could produce SS level fruits, could he also produce SSS level fruits? Since he was going to take it, he would definitely take the strongest one. In summary, Qin Feng planned to use this first fruit to cultivate his own hero unit. After putting the fruit into the package. Next, what Qin Feng did was very simple. He started to build the entire territory in earnest. According to what he learned in the course, he looked at the wooden house. Simple wooden house. Consumption, 10 resources. Construction time, 1 minute. Effect, can accommodate 4 people, with primary cold protection effect. Build, also covered by white light. 1 minute later, a small wooden house appeared in a 3-meter square area. 3 wooden houses stood side by side, just within the current territory. Then, the lumberyard, militia training camp, and cellar were built one after another. When all these buildings were built, 80 points of resources out of 100 points have been consumed. However, the originally empty surroundings are now adjacent to buildings, and even a little compact. Next, it's time to recruit people. Qin Feng walked towards his lord's hut at this time. The mind communicated with the lord's heart. The next moment, the recruitment panel appeared. Currently available for recruitment, refugees. Recruitment cost, 1 resource. Level 1 territory. Only, refugees, can be recruited as territory citizens. Although it's waist up, there is no choice. Qin Feng also knew this long ago. Directly recruited 12 people in a row. But what made Qin Feng happy was that, as the white light faded, the 12 people who appeared in front of him, although they all looked a little thin, at least there was no one with missing arms or legs. The 12 people who came in front of him, after a slight shock, knelt down one after another. Hello, Lord. Qin Feng nodded slightly, and after a simple check of the basic information of these people, he made corresponding arrangements for them. 4 of them were sent to the lumberyard, consuming 8 resources to make them junior lumberjacks. They were going to be sent to the militia training camp in batches to train them into the first level, militia. However, the current resources are naturally not enough. At this time, Qin Feng simply returned to the Lord's hut. Next, you need to wait a little. Because, training militia, each person needs to consume 4 resources. In other words, if you want to train the remaining 8 people, you need a full 32 resources. At present, his resource number is 0. Fortunately, junior lumberjacks can get 6 pieces of wood per hour. The ratio of ordinary wood to resources is 1:1. That is to say, at present, he needs to wait about 1 hour and 20 minutes to collect resources. The furnishings in the Lord's cabin were simple. A square wooden table, a single wooden bed, and a lamp filled with kerosene. Other than that, there was nothing else. Back in the cabin, Qin Feng lay directly on the wooden bed, crossed his legs, and squinted slightly. Speaking of which, it's time to release the competition task, right? He was thinking in his heart. At this time, in his mind, a magnificent and majestic voice suddenly rang out. All the new lords in the southeastern division of Qingyan Mountains have arrived. Regional chat and trading channels will be opened soon. New lord competition tasks will be released soon. Qin Feng sat up suddenly with the prompt sound, and a solemn look appeared in his eyes. Here it comes. Qin Feng's eyes flickered as he took a deep breath. At this time, the prompt sound rang out again. The first stage of the mission. Resource collection competition. Mission details. From the time the mission is not initiated, the ranking will be based on the number of resources collected by all new lords in the area until the settlement in 7 days. The top 100 lords will receive different rewards. The prompt sound disappeared, and Qin Feng also murmured at this time, resource collection mission. It's okay. I just don't know what ranking I can get. I hope I can enter the top 100. Qin Feng naturally knew that this situation would occur. Because this is one of the rules of the Endless World. In each area, after the number of new lords reaches the standard, the Endless World will release various competitions. Or resource collection competitions, or combat power growth competitions, or territory prosperity competitions, and undoubtedly, the lords who can get rewards in such competitions will be ahead of other lords. Later, there will be territory competitions and so on. Until the final, monster invasion. Only by being able to survive can you completely gain a foothold in the Endless World. But at the same time, that also means that the rookie stage is completely over. The various territories will also begin to erode and annex each other. In short, the road to becoming a lord is not a steady development, but has always been accompanied by competition and cruelty. He sighed in his heart. At this time, Qin Feng suddenly came back to his senses. By the way, the chat and trading channel has been opened. I can see what the opponents in this area are like. With a thought, a chat box appeared in an instant. Then, Qin Feng saw that a message quickly passed by in front of him. Luo Qingyan, human, how many humans are there in this area? Baina, dragon, are you ready to surrender? Sid, orc, orcs will never surrender. Ailalu, elf, this original land is a mountain forest, and our race is naturally endowed with advantages. Messages passed by. Qin Feng's expression was slightly solemn. Sure enough, there are dragons. And the elves are also quite difficult to deal with. Even the orcs are not weak at all. Fortunately, we didn't see the lords of top tribes such as demons and angels. This is the only thing Qin Feng feels fortunate about. In the Endless Continent, it is true that not only human lords exist. Rather, all ethnic groups exist. These different ethnic groups also have their own corresponding buildings and development routes. Among them, angels, demons, Shiras, Zerg, etc. are undoubtedly the most powerful opponents. If lords of such ethnic groups appear in an area, it is almost likely that they will be the ones who can make it to the end. Because the advantage is too great. For example, the angels recruit soldiers of at least legendary level. An angel soldier of the same level can fight against hundreds of low-level soldiers. Of course, the Endless World is fair. The cost of recruiting such powerful soldiers is naturally high. Moreover, the number of lords of ethnic groups such as angels is extremely rare. Perhaps there will not be 1 in 10 areas. And the human lords are not weak either. Although the early soldiers are weak, with continuous development, they can take the routes of cultivation, warrior, and technology in the future. The upper limit of development is not lower than these innately powerful tribes. If it's just the dragon tribe, there is still a chance. Qin Feng will naturally not be afraid at all. However, at this time, in the chat interface, some tribes have already started to lick. Sith Goblin, oh my god, there are great dragon tribes in our territory. If the dragon army comes, I will surrender at the first time. Mons Goblin, I will also surrender at the first time. Looking at these messages, Qin Feng is not surprised. In the Endless World, among all kinds of tribes, goblins, dwarves, and dog-headed people are notoriously shameless. Among them, no powerful lords have ever been born. Although this is related to the inherent weakness of their tribes. But more of it is that their fighting spirit is low. Once they meet a strong tribe, they will lick at the first time. And the dragon tribe, in the entire Endless Continent, they are ranked at the top. Such behavior is reasonable. However, Qin Feng was very calm. But some other tribe lords, more or less, could not help but start to complain. Lilia, Centaur, this is what a dirty and rubbish race is like. Arthur's orc, indeed, if there are these dirty creatures near me, I will trample them down as soon as possible, and even not give them a chance to surrender. A war of words began. And Qin Feng, of course, did not participate in it. Instead, taking advantage of the verbal cannons of these tribe lords, he roughly sorted out the composition of the lords in this area. Among the 1,000 new lords, although most of them did not speak, But among the 354 people who spoke, among them, the number of human races, there are 61. This is a good number, because the human race is relatively united in the presence of alien races. In addition, among the other lords, the number of high-level tribes is 1, that is, the only dragon tribe that spoke. The number of medium-level tribes is 199, including orcs, elves, centaurs, winged people, blood tribes, three-eyed tribes, dwarves, etc. The rest are all inferior tribes, such as goblins, slimes, goblins, etc. After a statistics, a lot of time has passed. At this time, Qin Feng glanced at his resource points. 41 points. Seeing that he had enough points, Qin Feng did not hesitate and got up from the wooden bed directly. Walk out of the wooden house with big strides. Outside the house, 4 lumberjacks are still working hard to cut down trees. Each unit of wood, when it is cut down and landed, turns into white light and is converted into materials. This is the rule of the endless world. Whether it is recruitment or construction, there is no need for any messy, steel, and wood, and other complicated materials. All materials will be converted into resource points. However, the conversion ratio varies depending on the materials. For example, 1 unit of iron ore can be converted into 3 points of resources. 1 unit of wood is converted into 1 point of resources. This rule undoubtedly saves a lot of trouble. Otherwise, if you are unlucky and there is no building material in the area you landed, wouldn't you be dumbfounded? At this time, Qin Feng had already come to the 8 people who were doing nothing. Then he gave an order. The 8 people followed Qin Feng and came directly to a simple building. Militia Training Camp. Effect: consume 4 resources to train ordinary territory citizens into militia. Militia. Combat unit, initial level, level 3, rank, inferior. Send the 8 people in one by one. 1 minute later, the first person completed the training. When he walked out of it, the worn-out clothes on his body turned into simple light armor, and he carried a simple spear in his hand. Qin Feng looked at it immediately. The information appeared in front of him. Militia, level 3, rank, inferior. Combat rating is -1 compared to its own level. Combat power rating, level 5, initial level 2, talent +3. Description: soldiers who have undergone simple training have some combat power. The attributes are ridiculously weak. However, this is not surprising. After all, it is just an inferior rank. The ranks of the troops, from low to high, are inferior, ordinary, elite, king, epic, legendary, mythical. Inferior is the lowest rank among the troops. Even though it is already level 3, its combat power evaluation is only level 2, which does not meet the normal standard. However, there is no choice. The strength of the human army is relatively weak in the early stage. Fortunately, the training price is cheap. It has only been more than an hour since entering the endless world, and 8 soldiers have been trained. Change to other high-level tribes. At this moment, they are still in the process of accumulating resources. For example, in a huge valley, a huge black dragon is crawling on an extremely simple building similar to a haystack. And this building is the initial building of the Dragon Clan, a level 1 dragon cave. The black dragon is the Bina, who spoke in the chat channel before. It lies on the simple dragon cave. In the entire territory, there is only one building that looks like a dragon head. Nearby, a creature with a human-like body, but with dragon horns and a dragon tail, was digging the surrounding rocks. This creature was the Dragon Man. He was also the original subject of the Dragon Lord. The reason why there was only one Dragon Man in the entire territory was very simple. That was that for the Dragon Clan, the initial resources could only recruit such a servant unit. As for training dragon warriors, 100 resources were required. But correspondingly, dragon warriors, on the other hand, are ace level units. And once recruited, they are level 10 combat units. With the bonus of their ace quality, they even have the combat power of level 15 inches ordinary units. As for the angels and other tribes, their troops are even more expensive, and perhaps most of the time in the front, they need to wait for resources to accumulate. Of course, as the initial powerful tribe, they can also go out hunting by themselves. However, generally speaking, no lord will do this. After all, The endless continent is full of dangers. And the level of each lord is related to the territory. That is to say, even angels will only be level 1 after entering the endless continent. Even if they have a good natural foundation, if they encounter some level 3 or 4, level 21 to 30, level 31 to 40 creatures, there will also be dangers. The 8 militiamen were trained quickly. And Qin Feng also gave orders directly to the 8 people. With the territory as the center, divide into 2 groups and explore the area within a radius of 100 meters. If you encounter some wild beasts, hunt them if you can. As the order was issued, Qin Feng also completed the formation. The next moment, the 8 militiamen in front of him followed the order and strode out of the light shield protection area. And Qin Feng returned to the wooden house again. Next, wait until enough resources are accumulated. Then upgrade the second level territory. While muttering, Qin Feng has already opened the Lord panel. Territory level 1. Upgrade requirements 1. Territory comprehensive evaluation 100 points achieved. 2. Territory exploration area 100 meters not achieved, currently explored 29%. 3. Resource points 100 points not achieved, currently 11. 3 conditions. In the early stage, none of them are harsh. For example, the first territory overall evaluation is related to the territory's buildings and personnel. In the early stage, just building a building and recruiting and converting some soldiers can meet the requirements. The second condition is opening the map, which means exploring the territory area of the next stage to ensure that there are no hostile units in this area. This condition is relatively difficult to achieve in the later stage. Because if you encounter some monster nests or other territories, if you want to continue to improve, there are only 2 choices, either defeat them or migrate the territory. Of course, the development direction of the territory can be selected by yourself. Therefore, it is not ruled out that some lords, in order to avoid the enemy, will eventually have a strange shape of the territory. Or, most of the territory area is in a resource-poor place. As for the third condition, it is the demand for hard resources. It will continue to increase with the improvement of the territory. Of course, these 3 conditions are only the initial needs. As the territory level increases, other needs will appear. But for now, the difficulty of upgrading territories of levels 1 to 3 is indeed not high. That's it. Qin Feng lay on the bed, waiting for the resources to grow. At the same time, he did not forget to check the battle log. Ding, your militia team 1 killed a hare and obtained rabbit meat x1. Ding, your militia team 2 killed a hare and obtained rabbit meat x1. Messages appeared one after another. Until more than 10 minutes later. Ding, your militia team has completed the exploration mission. Mission accomplished. Qin Feng heard the prompt. He smiled. This means that one of the conditions required for the territory to be promoted has been met again. Sure enough, not long after, the 2 teams returned to the territory together. And each of them brought some spoils of war. In total, hare meat x11. Hare meat grade. F description. Food containing protein, but only protein. Long-term consumption will cause physical weakness. Effect 1. After taking it as a food ingredient, it can restore physical strength in a short time. Effect 2. Each unit of rabbit meat can be converted into 2 resources. Rabbit meat is obviously not suitable as the main source of food. But at this moment, the territory was just built. There is no qualification to be picky. Therefore, Qin Feng also left 3 units of rabbit meat as food. The rest were all converted into resources. Then, the militia was sent again to explore farther areas and complete the hunt at the same time. The militia left again. At this time, Qin Feng looked at the resource point that had accumulated 30 points. His heart was full of expectations. There are still 70 points left. After an hour, it should be almost done. In fact, it was just as Qin Feng expected. As the militia team continued to hunt in the wild, plus the hard work of the 4 woodcutters. An hour later, as the militia team returned, all the spoils were received by Qin Feng. Ding, got rabbit meat times 24, pheasant meat times 12, wild boar meat times 20. The benefits are huge. In particular, among these meats, there are 20 units of wild boar meat. But getting these wild boar meats is not without a price. The 8 militiamen all have different degrees of injuries. After all, the combat rating of wild boars is generally around level 10, which is the top existence among the first level creatures. Although the militia has an advantage in number, killing wild boars is not so easy. However, all this is worth it in Qin Feng's opinion. Because, in the courses of the War College, there are special psychological training courses for this. Moreover, every lord must also clearly realize that the casualties of his people are always inevitable. He comforted the 8 militiamen a little. Then, Qin Feng did not hesitate and directly began to convert the collected materials. Ding, convert 22 units of rabbit meat, get 44 resource points. Ding, convert 10 units of chicken, get 30 resource points. Ding, convert 15 units of wild boar meat, get 75 resource points. A resource recovery. The resource points increased directly by 149 points. Adding the income from logging, Qin Feng looked at the total number of resources. At present, it has reached 203 points. The speed of obtaining resources through combat plunder is fast. Qin Feng grinned. In the same hour, the income from logging is relatively fixed, only 24 points. The 8 militiamen brought 149 resource points. Of course, Qin Feng also knew, war looting and killing monsters can certainly quickly accumulate resources. But it does not mean that engaging in production and mining is not important. The former is a huge risk. The latter is more stable. With a sigh in his heart, at this time, Qin Feng also chose to upgrade the wooden house in the territory. With the consumption of 100 resources, the prompt sound rang out. The Lord's wooden house is being upgraded. Estimated time, 3 minutes. As the prompt sound appeared, the white light also enveloped the entire house at this moment. Until 3 minutes passed, the prompt sound rang out again. Ding, congratulations on your Lord's house upgrade. Ding, your territory is upgraded to level 2. Ding, you have unlocked new buildings, hero altar, farmland, blacksmith shop, clinic. Ding, your other buildings can be upgraded, and you will directly build a level 2 building after building again. Ding, you have unlocked a new miracle building, eternal wall. During the prompt sound, Qin Feng saw that the original territory protection cover spread outward in an instant. Until, from the original 1,000 square meters, it directly spread to a radius of 50 meters, that is, 2,500 square meters, and finally stopped. The overall area has expanded by about 2.5 times. At the same time, as the white light dissipated, the original single-story lord cabin was upgraded to a 2-story exquisite cabin. While the area was slightly increased, it did not affect the surrounding buildings, but directly squeezed the previous buildings a little. The territory finally ushered in the first promotion at this moment. But before Qin Feng could expand the territory, at this time, a prompt sound rang again. Ding, the mysterious orchard has been upgraded to level 2. Ding, the new fruit is ripe. Hearing the prompt sound, Qin Feng remembered that the level of the mysterious orchard will be directly upgraded with the upgrade of the territory without the need to consume additional resources. And Qin Feng took a look at the second level mysterious orchard. The overall change is not big. It's just that in terms of effect, the original daily production of 1 mysterious fruit has become a daily production of 2. So, this is made up. Qin Feng walked directly into the orchard with some curiosity. Sure enough, on the fruit tree, a golden fruit was hanging on it. Pick it. With a thought, the fruit fell, and its message also appeared in front of him. Divine weapon fruit quality. A effect. After use, you can randomly get an A-level weapon. After reading the message, Qin Feng was a little confused. There is such a fruit. Qin Feng was a little surprised. I really didn't expect that a fruit tree could grow a weapon. But Qin Feng used the fruit immediately. Ding, congratulations on getting the A-level weapon, Razor Staff. The weapon has been put into your space package. Qin Feng heard it and immediately opened the space backpack that each lord brought with him. Sure enough, in the package, a short blue-purple staff was quietly located in the package. Faintly, there seemed to be fine thunder, sometimes appearing around the staff. He roughly glanced at the information on the staff. Qin Feng's eyes were burning at this time. It just happens to be of thunder attribute. It is a perfect match with the thunder fruit. Although I don't plan to use it myself, it happens to be a good time to build a hero altar. Maybe I can directly confront a powerful hero with thunder attribute. He made a decision in his heart. Qin Feng directly opened the building panel at this time. Hero altar. Consumption: 50 resource points. Construction time: 1 minute. Effect: resources can be consumed for hero recruitment. Note: the quality of recruitment is related to the territory level. Current probability: Elite, 95%. King, 4.7%. Epic, 0.299%. Legend, 0.0001%. Myth, 0%. Note: if you are not satisfied with the recruitment target, you can choose to give up to accumulate luck points. After accumulating 100%, the next recruitment will definitely obtain a hero unit of king level or above. Recruitment consumption: 50 resource points. The rank of heroes is the same as that of arms. But the difference is that the hero units of the human race start at least at the elite level. At the same time, the difference between heroes and arms is that, at the same level, the combat power of hero units is almost several times that of arms of the same quality. The most important thing is, heroes have growth potential. In layman's terms, they can be upgraded. Unlike soldiers, the initial level is fixed. Unless the technology is upgraded or secondary training is carried out, the level will stagnate. However, heroes cannot be recruited whenever they want. The number of heroes that can be recruited is closely related to the level of the territory. In the case of territories of level 1 to 10, for every 2 levels of promotion, an additional hero recruitment quota can be obtained. That is, for now, Qin Feng can only recruit 1 hero unit. At the same time, it is precisely this rule that limits it. It leads to a problem, that is, some people are lucky and can lead others by recruiting strong heroes at the beginning. Even some people, because they cannot recruit strong heroes, keep investing resources in this lottery-like recruitment. In the tutorial of the War College, this matter is specifically mentioned. And it is summarized in 2 sentences. Heroes are precious, don't force them. In history, there are many lords who were originally well developed, but because of recruiting heroes, they eventually fell behind and ended up with broken territories. Speaking of which, I envy those powerful tribes. Their hero units are at least epic level. Qin Feng sighed. This is inevitable. The lord rules of the endless continent cannot be completely fair. Otherwise, dragons and ants are equal, wouldn't that be a greater injustice? However, just like their recruitment of troops, the hero recruitment price of these powerful tribes is also more expensive. At the same time, the higher the level of the hero unit, the more experience points are required to upgrade. With emotion in his heart, at this time, Qin Feng also selected the hero altar. As the location was selected, white light appeared. 5 minutes later, the hero altar was built. It occupies a small area, only 5 times 5, and the overall structure is quite simple. It is a platform about 3 meters high. As he approached the altar, options appeared in front of Qin Feng. Do you want to recruit heroes? Yes. Qin Feng was not in a hurry to build other buildings, and directly used the remaining 50 resources to recruit heroes. After all, heroes are a thing. The earlier you recruit them, the sooner you can level them up and increase their strength. Moreover, most heroes usually have some commanding skills that can improve the combat power of the soldiers. A king, Qin Feng muttered in his heart. At this time, a hazy figure also emerged on the altar. Soon, its outline became clearer and clearer. Is it a woman? Qin Feng murmured. A few seconds later, the prompt sound suddenly rang out. Ding, congratulations on recruiting elite hero, magic girl, Daisy. The prompt sound ended. The figure in front of him was completely solidified. It was a girl with big golden waves, tall figure, and looked about 17 or 18 years old. Western race. But it is quite aesthetic. Qin Feng carefully looked at the girl in front of him. In simple terms, she has fair skin, beautiful face and long legs. With a height of 1.7 meters, those long legs are at least more than 1 meter. According to Qin Feng's visual estimation, Dalei is a conservative 36D. A pair of eyes, even more sapphire-like, shining and moving. Even in the previous life, when he was used to seeing all kinds of AI compositions and beauty internet celebrities, Qin Feng had to admit it. The girl in front of him was almost impeccable in appearance, and was definitely a goddess. However, Qin Feng was also very clear. what he should do and what the purpose of recruiting was. Moreover, the recruited heroes were not allowed to do whatever they wanted. It was true that the initial loyalty of these recruited heroes and soldiers was full. But if you want to have a closer relationship, you have to look at the intimacy. And the initial intimacy was not full, but accumulated from zero. Therefore, after a slight surprise, he came to his senses and looked at the girls' panel. Daisy, level 1, rank, elite hero, combat rating +6. Skills, magic bullet, fireball, ice arrow. Comprehensive combat power, 10, talent +3. Although the level is only level 1, its actual combat power has reached the level of ordinary soldiers at level 10. This is naturally because it is a hero unit. Otherwise, normal elite units are only one grade higher than ordinary units. The combat power is at most 2 levels higher. It's a pity that it didn't exceed level 1. Qin Feng curled his lips at this time. Level 1 to 10 is level 1. And level 10 is the combat power at the top of level 1. But even so, there is a qualitative gap between the top of level 1 and even the initial level 2. He sighed in his heart. At this time, Daisy finally came back to her senses, showing a sweet smile, and said with a smile, "Lord, my name is Daisy, is there any task for me to complete?" Qin Feng heard the words, came back to his senses, looked at Daisy, and thought for a while, task. Not yet, you eat this fruit first. While speaking, Qin Feng was not a hesitant person, and directly took out the thunder fruit he had picked before from the package. Daisy was a little curious, and only exclaimed after taking the fruit, "Oh my God, such a rich thunder element." Daisy was shocked, looking at Qin Feng with big eyes, and couldn't help saying, "Lord, are you really giving it to me?" Qin Feng nodded. Seeing this scene, Daisy no longer hesitated, and swallowed the thunder fruit with joy in 3 or 2 bites. Then, a ray of lightning emerged from her body. A prompt sound also sounded. Ding, your hero unit, Daisy, is advancing. Estimated advancement time, 30 minutes. Please wait patiently. It actually takes 30 minutes. Qin Feng muttered in his heart. But soon, he shook his head. Forget it, 30 minutes is 30 minutes. It just so happens that the territory has just been upgraded, and there is a lot to do. Speaking of which, after the territory was upgraded to the 2nd level, another miracle building was activated. Qin Feng thought in his heart. At this time, he also directly opened the building panel. Then, he found the activated miracle building in the last column. Eternal Wall grade. SSS unique building construction cost. None construction time. None effect. After construction, a circle of eternal walls will be generated along the territory. The Eternal Great Wall has super high defense capabilities and unique effects. The specific effects can be checked after construction build. Looking at the information of the building in front of him, Qin Feng's eyes lit up. Defensive building. And its SSS level. Doesn't this mean that I am invincible in the early stage? Qin Feng was extremely surprised. From the description of the building, it can be clearly determined that this Eternal Great Wall should be a building similar to a city wall. But the grade is as high as SSS, so you can imagine how terrifying its defense will be. Build it first, Qin Feng immediately thought. The next moment, a circle of white light appeared around the entire territory. But in just a moment, the white light dissipated. Instead, there was a circle of giant walls that were nearly 5 meters high and 3 meters thick. But these walls are not just a wall. Instead, there are single buildings such as Guanbao and Arrow Tower at every distance. At the same time, the wall does not seem to be made of ordinary rock and soil, but presents a black color, which is extremely heavy just by looking at it. Immediately, Qin Feng looked at the message. Eternal Wall. Grade. SSS. Defense level. Level 30. Durability. 10,000. Defense. All soldiers defending the city have a combat level +5. Eternity. The wall can be repaired infinitely and autonomously, and it can be restored to its original state even if only a speck of dust is left. The current recovery speed is 1000 durability per hour. Fortress. The Eternal Wall currently carries 3 fortresses, each of which can accommodate 4 soldiers. Soldiers entering it can be temporarily transformed into the legendary troop, Eternal Spear. Arrow Tower. The Eternal Wall currently carries 3 arrow towers, each of which can accommodate 4 soldiers. Soldiers entering it can be temporarily transformed into the legendary troop, Eternal Arrow. Note: the Eternal Wall advances with the advancement of the territory. Same as the previous Mystic Orchard. The Eternal Wall, which is also a miracle building, does not need to be upgraded, and will be upgraded autonomously with the advancement of the territory. And its attributes. It is also extremely powerful. Among them, in terms of basic attributes, the defense level has reached level 30. This means that creatures with a combat level below 30 will not be able to cause the slightest damage to the Eternal Wall. And its durability of 10,000 points means that it can withstand 10,000 attacks from creatures with a combat level of about 30. Moreover, the range of the attack is not the entire wall, but the carrying capacity per square meter. The current territory is only level 2. But relying on the Eternal Wall alone, it can perfectly resist all attacks from enemies within level 3. Even if there are too few level 4 creatures, it is impossible to break through the defense. Plus the subsequent special bonus. Hold on, directly increase the combat capability by 5 levels. And, the Eternal Arrow Tower and Eternal Fortress that can temporarily transform into legendary soldiers. At this moment, Qin Feng just wanted to shout, "Who else?" He was overjoyed. At this time, Qin Feng simply sent a militiaman directly to the wall. And as he walked up the wall, his original combat rating soared from level 5 to level 10. Then, Qin Feng asked him to enter the fortress under the city wall. As a white energy covered his body, the militiaman, who was originally only wearing cloth and holding a simple spear, completed the transformation in an instant. His whole body was covered with a bright silver armor, and the simple spear in his hand turned into a silver spear that was more than 3 meters long. At the same time, his information also changed. Eternal Spear. Level 3. Grade. Legend Combat Level plus 12. Skills. Eternal Thrust, Triple Thrust. Combat Rating. Level 15, Break -5, Hold plus 5, Break means 10 to 11, 20 to 21, this level 1 to 2 upgrade. The required combat level is 5, it can also be understood as 10 to 11, 6 levels of combat level are required to upgrade, and the later, the higher the requirement. It still retains the level 3 of the militia. But after being transformed into a legendary soldier, its combat level has jumped to level 15. Although this is only temporary. But it is amazing enough. It is worthy of being an SSS level building. In the end, Qin Feng could only sigh. Next, Qin Feng deployed the militia to the Arrow Tower. There was no surprise. After the militia completed the transformation after that, the combat power rating is also 15. However, from the previous bunker gunner, it has become an archer who can shoot from a distance. The difference between the two is only the division of labor and positioning. And in Qin Feng's test room, time also passed quickly. Finally, a pleasant reminder sound rang out. Ding, your hero, Daisy, has been promoted. Ding, your hero, Daisy, has changed its rank, Elite Up Pointing Arrow Legend. After the reminder sound, Qin Feng turned his head to look. Sure enough, the circles of lightning arcs that had previously wrapped around the girl have completely disappeared. The girl's figure is revealed again. His eyes swept over the girl in front of him. The overall appearance has not changed much, and she is still that charming and lovely. But Qin Feng keenly caught that in the girl's eyes with a little joy and smile, it seemed that there were fine lightning flashes from time to time. Investigate. Qin Feng directly used his lord authority. He didn't care about the change in appearance. He cared more about how strong Daisy was at the moment. Daisy. Level 1. Rank. Legendary Hero, Battle Rating plus 30. Talent. Super Affinity with Thunder when releasing Thunder skills, Skill Rating plus 2, Upper Limit SS Level. Skills. Thunder Bomb, Thunder Fireball, Ice Thunder Arrow. Combat Rating. 24, Talent plus 3, Breaking Level minus 10. Level 1. Directly reached the 24th level of combat rating. This is equivalent to being able to fight 2 levels higher. Exclamations continued. At this time, a prompt sounded. Ding, Daisy's intimacy with you plus 50. As the prompt sounded. At this time, Daisy also spoke. The Lord's kindness, Daisy has nothing to repay. Qin Feng heard this, and at this time, he took out the previous, razor staff, from the package again. Razor staff. Quality. A. Magic equipment. Description. For Mage, Combat Rating +2, for Thunder Mage, Combat Rating +4. Attached skill. Razor Bite Grade A. As Qin Feng took out the staff and stuffed it directly into Daisy's hands again. Daisy's cheeks flushed. This is not good. Although she said so, her eyes could not move away from the staff. After all, after taking the thunder fruit, her entire talent has been greatly improved, and it happens to be a thunder system. Now, this razor staff is so compatible with it. It can be called a special weapon. For a magical girl, this is like a gold digger seeing a luxury bag and can't let it go. Seeing this, Qin Feng chuckled and said, "I'll give it to you, just keep it. You become stronger, which is also good for the territory." Daisy heard this and no longer hesitated, and nodded immediately, then listened to the Lord. While speaking, at this time, the prompt sound rang again. Ding, Daisy's intimacy with you +20. Listening to the prompt sound, Qin Feng looked at Daisy's panel at this time. Intimacy. 70, extremely intimate. Looking at this value, Qin Feng suddenly remembered some content of the academy at this time. It seems that reaching 80 points of intimacy can do a lot of things. Hiss. Thinking of this, Qin Feng felt that the whole person seemed to be boiling. After all, he is also a normal man. Moreover, as a lord, the reason why he has to constantly strengthen himself and develop his power. Isn't it just to wake up and hold the power of the world and sleep on the lap of a beauty? Qin Feng, of course, has thought about these. But fortunately, in the end, Qin Feng calmed down. He kept repeating in his heart, it's still the early stage of development. Everything is based on becoming stronger. After calming down for a while, Qin Feng looked at Daisy at this time. He first organized 8 militiamen and then set Daisy as the team leader. He looked at her and said, "Daisy, take 8 militiamen to wipe out the group of wild wolves on the west side of the territory. This is the nest that the militia found during the exploration process before. There are about 20 wild wolves in the whole nest. With the combat power of the militia before, there is definitely no way to fight. But now, if Daisy takes action, there will definitely be no pressure." With Qin Feng's order, Daisy has been eager to try, and nodded immediately. "Lord, wait for my good news." After speaking, Qin Feng doesn't need to continue to give orders. The magic girl Daisy has already led 8 militiamen to the direction of the wild wolf's nest. And this is also one of the benefits of having a hero. Compared with ordinary soldiers, heroes can be appointed to positions such as captain, commander, management, and so on. Especially heroes of command or internal affairs can save the Lord a lot of things. Next, we have to wait again. Qin Feng yawned and turned back to the wooden house. The road of the Lord is like this. It is not like many people imagine, riding a monster, leading the army, sweeping across the world. At least, in the early stage, most lords can only stay in the territory honestly and wait for resources to accumulate. However, the upgraded lord's hut is much more luxurious. Qin Feng looked into the house and smiled. After the territory was upgraded to level 2, not only the area was increased to 5 times 5, but also double layer. And there were many more furnishings in the house. There were tables, chairs, beds, and couches. The original kerosene lamp was also turned into a hanging type. At the same time, there was an extra fluffy carpet in the bedroom area on the 2nd floor, and the bed was not like before, but a pure hardwood board with an extra cushion. Standing in front of the 2nd floor window, Qin Feng looked at his territory. Although it was still very small, with an area of only 100 times 100, it was slightly larger than a football field. But although it was small, it was now somewhat decent. In particular, the eternal wall surrounded the territory, giving it a sense of small town and a full sense of security. He was sighing in his heart. At this time, a message came from the battle interface. Ding! Daisy killed an ordinary wolf and gained +5 experience points. Ding! Daisy killed an ordinary wolf and gained +5 experience points. Ding! Militia 1 collected wolves and gained +3 wolf meat and +1 wolf skin. Ding! Militia 2 collected wolves and gained +4 wolf meat. Ding! Daisy's level increased to level 2. The prompt sounds never stopped. At the same time, hundreds of meters away from the territory. Daisy held the razor staff, and in her eyes, a ray of lightning flashed. And in front of her, behind a huge bush, more than 20 wild wolves were all grinning. The next moment, a wild wolf suddenly launched an attack. As an ordinary wild beast, its attack method is naturally very simple. It is a simple pounce and bite. This kind of pounce and bite is a great threat to the militia, a combat force that is only simply trained. But Daisy is a legendary hero. The staff was gently raised, and a ray of lightning was stimulated from the staff. Zzz. As the lightning was agitated, the biting wild wolf twitched all over, and it turned into a piece of charcoal in just a few seconds. However, this approach aroused the ferocity of the other wild wolves. Immediately, several more wild wolves launched an offensive together. Moreover, they attacked from all sides. But obviously, there will be no surprises in the end. Accompanied by the flash of lightning. After a while, the battle ended. Throughout the whole process, Daisy did not even use a skill, but simply manipulated the power of the thunder element to solve the battle. And with the killing of these wild wolves, Daisy's level was also raised to level 3 at this moment. At the same time, with the death of the Wolf King, a wooden treasure chest appeared out of thin air. Ding, your hero Daisy killed the Wolf King and got a wooden treasure chest ×1. Qin Feng, who was staying in the hut, looking at the last battle message, a touch of joy flashed in his eyes. The treasure chest is out. Nice. Qin Feng smiled. Treasure chest. The full name is Resource Treasure Chest. According to the quality classification, it is divided into 5 qualities: wood, bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. And the wooden treasure chest. Theoretically, it can open 10 to 100 resource points. Plus the profit from killing the wild wolf. Most of the second-level buildings can be built. If nothing goes wrong, the territory can be upgraded to level 3 today. Qin Feng was thinking in his heart. At this moment, the time displayed on the Lord's panel is 3 hours before the night falls. Night. It is extremely not recommended for novice lords to continue to develop the territory. Because, under the cover of night, the beasts and monsters outside become more violent and bloodthirsty, and their aggressiveness becomes stronger. At the same time, after a day of hard work, the people in the territory also need to rest and recover their physical strength. Blindly squeezing labor will not only reduce work efficiency, but may even reduce their sense of belonging and loyalty. Once a negative buff is generated, it is not so easy to cancel it. However, in Qin Feng's opinion, 3 hours left is more than enough. And this is a perfect start in Qin Feng's opinion. Not much time has passed. Daisy returned with 8 militiamen. Qin Feng also immediately collected these resources. The harvest was rich. After some statistics, wild wolf meat ×55. Wild wolf skin ×12. And a piece of wild wolf meat can be converted into 4 resources. A piece of wolf skin can be converted into 10 resources. After some conversion, the resource points that were originally few in number were abundant again, reaching 352 points, including 12 points of logging income. After all these materials were converted. At this time, Qin Feng finally looked at the wooden treasure chest. Wooden resource treasure chest. Description. After opening, you can randomly get 10 to 100 resource points. Do you want to open it? Qin Feng responded decisively under the prompt sound. The next moment, ding, congratulations on getting resource points ×80. Good luck. Qin Feng smiled and looked at the resource points that had risen to 432 points. He opened the building list directly. Current buildings. Simple wooden houses ×3. Primary lumberyard ×1. Primary cellar ×1. Militia training ground ×1. These are the existing buildings in the territory. Behind each building, there is an upgrade option. However, Qin Feng did not choose to upgrade these buildings. Because the cost effectiveness of the upgrade is not high. For example, if a simple wooden house wants to be upgraded to the next level of small wooden house, it needs to consume 50 resource points. But the improvement of its effect is only the capacity is increased to 6 people, and the ability to keep warm and cold is improved to a certain extent, and it has higher durability, and the prosperity of the territory is +5. The ability to keep warm and cold, the improvement of durability, and even the bonus of the prosperity of the territory are of no use at present. After all, the current environment of the territory is not an extreme place. The climate and temperature are all good. As long as the physical strength of the people in the territory is not reduced too low, it is almost impossible to get sick. The improvement of durability is useless in the early stage. After all, it is still the novice protection period, and the monsters from the outside world cannot attack the territory. As for the prosperity of the territory, it is not used at all in the territories of level 1 to 3. Only when the territory reaches level 3 or above, this attribute is needed for subsequent upgrades. In other words, the only improvement is that the number of residents increases from 4 to 6. This is obviously not cost-effective. However, the population definitely needs to be increased. The income of basic resources is also the top priority. Qin Feng thought about it in his heart. Finally, he chose to build 5 more simple wooden houses. At the same time, an additional logging site was set up in the other 3 locations of the territory. And 8 farmlands were reclaimed. After a lot of trouble, the territory buildings were replanned. The final result is that there is a logging site in each of the 4 locations of the territory. And in the back of the east side of the territory, the Lord's hut is placed, and the mysterious orchard is on the right side of the house. On the west side of the territory, there are a total of 8 simple wooden houses. Outside the wooden house are 8 small fields, each of which occupies an area of 2 times 2, and the total area is 4 times 8. After that, Qin Feng recruited 20 people again, with the upgrade of the territory. Now, the recruited people in the territory are no longer refugees as before. Even among them, a top-notch person with F-level entry was recruited. Citizens of the territory. Unnamed. Age, 25. Physical strength, 100. Lumberjack F. Logging efficiency increased by 20%. Other citizens of the territory also carry F-level entries with different effects. For example, the upper limit of physical strength is increased, or the harvest of planting is increased, etc. This is also the benefit of the continuous upgrading of the territory. With the continuous upgrading of the territory, the citizens of the territory that can be recruited in the future will become more and more elite. The Lord can also make reasonable allocations according to the respective strengths of these citizens to maximize their abilities. Qin Feng naturally did the same at this moment. Soon, he arranged 8 people to maintain and plant the fields. Then, the remaining 12 people were directly converted into lumberjacks, including the citizen with the entry of lumberjack. After a lot of trouble, naturally, a lot of resource points were consumed. Among them, wooden house construction 50, citizen recruitment 40, level 2 territory, recruiting citizens consumes 2 resources. Lumberyard construction 60, lumberjack job change 24. Farmland construction 160. A total of 334 resources were consumed. However, such consumption naturally brought considerable benefits. Among them, with the increase in the number of lumberjacks, now every hour, it can already bring 97 points of resource benefits to the territory. Then, 8 farmlands can produce 8 units of crops every day, and the benefits will vary depending on the crops. In general, the daily fixed income can reach at least hundreds of points. Yes, you can consider what to plant, Qin Feng murmured, and at this time he simply opened the chat channel. In the channel, there are still messages coming one after another. Building plan of Flame Tower, are you jealous? I just got it. Oh my god, AC level building, the firepower is unimaginable. I'm so jealous, just using all the resources to build this thing, I can at least survive 5 rounds of the monster siege event. Building plan of Thorns, my luck is not as good as the Lord above, but it's still okay. Why, I didn't drop anything. Is the gap between lords so big? Haha, all these are external things. Only self-strength is the foundation. Then the dragons under my command will be the real overlords. Long live the Dragon Lord. What are you bragging about? You haven't even recruited a dragon scale yet. The message passed by quickly. The content is not complicated. Either it is Versailles, putting up a map of your own drops to make others envious. Or it is like the Dragon Lord, pretending to be cool and bragging. Sometimes there are some verbal battles. Looking at these passing messages. At this time, Qin Feng also sighed in his heart. If it is normal, I guess I am also one of the envious people. This is related to the rules of the endless world. The Lord of all races. Among the various types of buildings that come with the initial, the default level is actually the lowest grade. Even if the territory is upgraded to the 9th level, it is just an upgrade of the building level. For example, even if a simple wooden house is upgraded to the 9th level, it is just a luxury residence from a simple wooden house. The living conditions will indeed be upgraded continuously with the upgrade. The number of people who can live will continue to increase. Even the cold and heat resistance effect, prosperity, and solidity will also be improved. But in essence, it is still a low-level building. There is no special bonus. And high-level residences have additional terms. For example, accelerated recovery. For example, careful concentration. And other attributes. Similarly, there are arrow towers and so on. And the sea-level defensive buildings, under the same level, its attack is 100 times that of the initial building. It is completely different, as one of the comments in the chat channel said. With such a blueprint, the Lord does not even need to recruit soldiers, just relying on the defense tower, he can withstand at least 5 rounds of attack in the final assessment, Monster Siege. It can be said that the lower limit is directly raised to an extremely high level. While feeling emotional, Chin Feng still closed the chat channel at this time. After all, his goal is not here. He turned to open the trading channel. In an instant, all kinds of dazzling items in the trading channel were all imprinted in his eyes. There are 1,000 lords in the entire area. Naturally, there are quite a few people selling things. Among them, the items for sale are also strange. There are all kinds of beast meat, wild vegetables, and fruits for sale. Although Chin Feng directly converted it into resource points, the price of this thing is generally higher when it is sold in the trading house. After all, not every lord can hunt wild beasts. And when wild beasts cannot be hunted, the people under his command also need to eat. Naturally, they can only use resource points to buy in the trading channel. Of course, there is a reason why Chin Feng directly converted resources. First of all, this kind of low-level resources has no profit. If 5 points of resources are directly recovered, the maximum value of selling here is 6 to 7 points of resources. Other lords are not fools. Unless it is a monopoly or something extremely scarce. Otherwise, there is no way they will buy it at a high price. Secondly, Chin Feng's goal is to upgrade the territory as soon as possible. As the saying goes, one step ahead, one step ahead. The earlier the territory level is raised and the overall strength of the territory is improved, the better the subsequent resources can be obtained. Instead of slowly selling items here for these little profits. In the trading channel, Chin Feng's goal was naturally very clear. After quickly eliminating the unnecessary items, soon, he found the target he wanted to buy this time. Pumpkin seeds E. Rice seeds E. Watermelon seeds E. Various seeds came into view. However, Chin Feng was not very satisfied. Until a moment later, spiritual rice seeds C. Surprisingly, there are C-level seeds. Chin Feng was surprised and slightly surprised. His own goal was just F-level seeds. However, when he saw the selling price, Chin Feng had a headache again. Because, this kind of seed is sold for 1,000 resource points. But, speaking of it, this price is really not expensive. I guess the seller is also thinking of exchanging goods for capital and improving the territory as soon as possible. Chin Feng knew about spiritual rice. Just like the grade of its seeds, it is a C-grade rice seed. Not only does it taste better than ordinary rice, but the most important thing is that if you eat it for a long time, there is a certain chance that it can improve your affinity for water elements. This is an extremely important attribute, because this involves the recruitment of high-level elemental soldiers. Some elemental soldiers need to meet certain conditions for their affinity for the elements of the system before they can be trained and transferred. Normally, the elemental affinity term starts at least C grade. The probability of recruiting such people can be imagined. And with spiritual rice, people with water talents can be artificially created. At the same time, Chin Feng remembered that in the course of the War Academy, it was mentioned, spiritual rice, 1 unit, is worth 50 resource points. For the second-level farmland, the output is 2 to 3 units at a time. Even if it is planted for sale, a wave of harvest can recover 100 to 150 units of resources. Moreover, it should be noted that the planting in the endless world is not like reality, and it is often calculated in months. Qin Feng remembered that the planting cycle of spiritual rice is only 24 hours. That is, one harvest per day. Even if the lowest yield is taken into account, it can be recovered in 10 days. What's more, spiritual rice is still a special crop. The yield is very small in the early stage, and it is very likely that it will be the only one in the short term. If it is put on the trading channel, it can even be sold at a price of more than 20%. Overall, this price is already extremely affordable. That is, this area is only the first day of the Lord's Advent. In a few days, it is not uncommon for the seeds to be sold at 3 or 5 times the current price. Take it as much as possible if you can. Qin Feng thought about it and decided to contact the seller. This level of seeds are mainstream products before the territory is level 6. It is definitely worth it to take it. Even if he really took it, Qin Feng did not intend to use the harvest to exchange for resources, but intended to use it for the people in the territory and himself. Soon, Qin Feng sent a private message to the seller. Yu Xiaoyu. Hey, do you want to buy seeds? Seeing the other party's reply, Qin Feng also replied immediately. Qin Feng. Well, it would be better if the price could be a little cheaper. Yu Xiaoyu. This price is already very low, and you should know the effect of spiritual rice. Qin Feng. Can it really not be any lower? Yu Xiaoyu. No, if I don't really need a resource point now, I will definitely not sell it. Qin Feng. Then, I will get enough as soon as possible. Yu Xiaoyu. Then you should do it as soon as possible, maybe I won't sell it for a while. A simple conversation. The final result is not good. However, Qin Feng has long been mentally prepared for this. After all, they are not big enemies, and it is impossible for them to reduce the price for you in a few words. He also contacted with the idea of giving it a try. Then, we can only save resources. Qin Feng exited the trading channel. He looked at the remaining resources. After a while, the lumberjacks' work, plus the remaining resources, the current resource points reached 123 points again. There was still 877 points to the purchase demand. However, the next moment, Qin Feng directly chose to consume the resources. Do you want to consume 50 points of resources to upgrade the militia training camp to the primary barracks? Yes, 50 points of resources were deducted instantly. And the white light enveloped the militia training camp. 5 minutes later, the upgrade was completed. At this time, Qin Feng summoned all 8 militiamen in front of him. Then, under his eyes, options appeared. Low-level spearman, low-level archer, low-level sword and shield. 3 advanced routes. All of them have an initial level of 12 and a rank of ordinary soldiers. And the consumption of each soldier for upgrading training is 10 points. There are still 7 resources missing. But, we will be able to save enough soon. Qin Feng muttered in his heart. Finally, he first transformed 4 militiamen into archers. Then, the remaining 4 were transformed into sword and shield soldiers. The transformation was completed, although the resources were consumed again. But at this moment, the 8 soldiers already have a strong combat power. With the bonus of talent, they have reached a rating of 15. Even if they encounter some low-level monsters, they are already capable of fighting. Next, it depends on luck. Qin Feng's eyes were dim, and he quickly completed the team allocation of the 8 people. They are all composed of 2 archers and 2 shield guards. Then, he gave the order, with the territory as the center, conduct exploration and hunting within a 1-kilometer radius. Then, he looked at Daisy on the side and said, Daisy, you are a group, and the exploration range is increased to 3 kilometers. Be careful. If you encounter an enemy that you cannot fight, give priority to your own safety. Daisy heard this and nodded gently. Understood, Lord. The 8 soldiers also nodded. In terms of the current geographical environment of the territory, the resources are still quite rich. It shouldn't be a problem to accumulate enough resource points. Return to the wooden house. All Qin Feng could do at this moment was to wait quietly. Fortunately, after a moment of waiting, on the battle log, new battle information began to refresh one after another. Ding, your combat team 1 hunted wild boars and obtained wild boar meat times 15, wild boar tusks times 1. Ding, your combat team 2 hunted wild deer and obtained venison times 13, deer antlers times 1. Ding, your hero, Daisy, hunted the wind wolf and obtained wolf meat times 5, and obtained the second level wind magic core. Under the prompt sound, what surprised Qin Feng the most was, among them, a magic beast was hunted. Level 2 magic core, just recycling it is worth 50 resource points. At this rate, I'm afraid it won't take an hour to accumulate enough resource points. I just don't know how long the seller will sell it at that price. Qin Feng didn't doubt what the other party said before. The other party must be in urgent need of a batch of resource points now, so he chose to sell spiritual rice seeds. It is likely that some limited time adventure has been triggered. Once the adventure is over, the other party may give up selling. And the fact, it is just as Qin Feng guessed. At this moment, located at the foot of the mountain, an area close to the stream, in the same simple territory, a human girl is now full of anxiety. Woo, time is almost up. She looked at an old man in human form beside her. The old man was carrying a simple shelf, and a time mark was revealed on his head. And that time, at this moment, was only 36 minutes and 11 seconds. And it is still passing. The old man is a mysterious merchant, one of the adventures of the Endless Continent. Some lords with extremely good luck have a very low probability of meeting this merchant. The merchant will stay for 1 to 3 hours and sell some items randomly. Among them, the items sold are as low as F level and as high as S level. The reason why Yu Xiaoyu is so desperate for resources. It is because, among the items sold by the old man at this moment, there is a scroll, Epic Hero Recruitment Scroll. Price, 1500 resource points. Description: after use, it can replace one recruitment, and this recruitment must recruit an Epic Hero unit. Epic Hero unit. Even if the territory is upgraded to level 8, level 9, or even after the city is built, it is a high-end combat unit. Especially for human lords, this is even more so. Normally speaking, it takes at least level 7 territory for the bottom of the altar to become epic. This is why Yu Xiaoyu is in urgent need of resources. If we can recruit an epic hero right at the beginning, even if there is a dragon lord in this area, it is not without the ability to fight. When the time comes, contact other human lords, establish an alliance, and I will be the leader. Yu Xiaoyu sat on the steps next to the wooden house, and he already had a fantasy for the follow-up in his mind. That's it, a fantasy. Yu Xiaoyu even snorted. When the time comes, let's see what the elder sister has to say. However, before she could continue to imagine the sequel, at this time, a slightly hoarse voice sounded. Human girl, thank you for your hospitality. I have to continue on my way. Hearing this, Yu Xiaoyu finally came to his senses and looked at the mysterious merchant with an anxious look on his face. Ah, uncle, are you leaving? Would you like to sit for a while? The mysterious merchant shook his head. I have rested long enough. While speaking, the time displayed above his head was also less than 1 minute at this moment. And he had already turned around and started to pack up the shelves. Yu Xiaoyu's face changed slightly. But there was nothing he could do. Use force. This is absolutely not allowed. The mysterious merchant is as mysterious as his name suggests. Although he may look like an old man, his strength is definitely not weak. There are even super large forces that have established main cities, kingdoms, and dynasties above level 10, who have tried to keep the mysterious merchant. But the final result was that the other party left easily. And it also gave the territory a negative buff. Therefore, the more widely accepted view now is that this mysterious businessman is actually the incarnation of the will of the endless world. Being chosen by it itself represents a reward from heaven. Seeing that time is getting shorter and shorter, Yu Xiaoyu finally got anxious. She hurriedly opened the trading channel. So much time has passed. There are no accidents. Except for Qin Feng who contacted her before, no one else has sent her an inquiry message. This is not surprising. Now it is only the first day of the Lord's arrival. 1,000 resource points are not an astronomical number, but the number of lords who can take them out is also very few. And these lords do not necessarily need this thing. After all, for most ethnic groups, planting is not on their development path. Many ethnic groups still take hunting as their main development path. Only the human race has a lot of experience in planting. This is related to the innate abilities of the recruited people in the territory. In addition, the importance of initial resources and other reasons. In the end, no one is interested in the spiritual rice seeds now. Of course, this does not rule out that some lords may be preparing to take it quietly. In short, at this moment, Yu Xiaoyu can only send a message to Qin Feng with a little embarrassment. Yu Xiaoyu, that, 800 resources, do you still want it? The message was sent. Yu Xiaoyu felt her face getting hot. After all, just a few minutes ago, she was still very strong and said there was no room for negotiation. Now, she took the initiative to lower the price. She is not stupid and knows what this means. The other party must be able to guess that she is in urgent need of resources. Now, if she takes the initiative to show weakness, the other party will even lower the price. As long as it is more than 650 points. Yu Xiaoyu pursed her lips and murmured in her heart. This is her bottom line. If it is lower, she will not be able to save enough 1500 resources. Looking at the sudden message, Qin Feng's expression was slightly amused. She is very anxious, not just ordinary anxious. This was Qin Feng's first reaction. Otherwise, the other party would not have continued to lower the price. What a coincidence. If she had sent the message 5 seconds later, I would have bought it directly. Qin Feng couldn't help grinning. Because, just about 2 minutes ago, he had just accumulated enough resources and was ready to buy. As a result, the other party's message came. Immediately, Qin Feng replied. Qin Feng, 700, only so much. After sending this message, Qin Feng was stroking his chin, thinking whether the other party would accept it. However, in less than 2 seconds, Yu Xiaoyu, deal, I will change the price immediately. Looking at the other party's message reply, Qin Feng was a little annoyed. I didn't lower the price enough. However, since it has been negotiated, and he can also make money, Qin Feng didn't continue to worry about it. Soon, he saw that the price of spiritual rice seeds on the trading channel had been changed. He made the move without hesitation. Ding, purchase successful. The item has been automatically stored in the package. Listening to the pleasant reminder sound, Qin Feng felt that he had made a big profit. Finally, it's in time. Yu Xiaoyu's face flushed, and she didn't dare to delay at all. She quickly completed the purchase before the mysterious businessman stepped out of the territory. Until she saw the recruitment scroll hanging steadily in the package, Yu Xiaoyu showed a silly smile, and then shouted loudly, New Lord King, I, Yu Xiaoyu, will be the king. Accompanied by the shout, all around, the workers who were cutting wood looked sideways. What is the Lord calling for? It seems to be something like a turtle. Eating turtle tonight, who knows, it's good enough that the Lord can give us a place to stay. If we can eat turtle meat, then I will do whatever the Lord tells me to do. Me too. Amidst a whisper, at this time, Yu Xiaoyu, who was in an excited state, suddenly heard a reminder. Ding, the lumberjacks under your command are in high spirits, and their work efficiency has increased by 20%. What, could it be that I am really the girl of destiny? Yu Xiaoyu's eyes lit up. The seeds were obtained. Qin Feng would not hesitate. He directly sowed them in a piece of farmland. Then, he looked at the farmland. Farmland, level 2. Crops planted. Spiritual rice. Estimated output, 2 to 3 units. Output time, 24 hours. The output is still too small. Upgrade the territory to level 3 as soon as possible, and upgrade this farmland to level 3. At this time, Qin Feng opened the Lord panel. All the previous messages were ignored. He looked directly at the upgrade requirements. 1. 1000 resources not achieved. 2. Explore an area of 500 meters achieved. 3. Territory comprehensive score 1000 achieved. Only resources are missing. Sure enough, it's just as I expected. Qin Feng had expected this. The conditions for upgrading a level 2 territory to level 3 are no different from those for upgrading a level 1 to level 2, except that more people are needed. Normally, the most difficult condition to achieve is naturally the third one. The comprehensive score of the territory reaches 1000. But for Qin Feng, this is not stressful at all. Because the comprehensive score of the territory is actually the sum of the factors such as prosperity, plus combat power, plus population, plus population quality of the territory. As for prosperity, it is not high at present. After all, most of the buildings in the territory are still level 1, and Qinfeng has not upgraded them. In terms of population, there are only 34 people. But in terms of combat power and population quality, it made up for the previous defects. So, we still need to accumulate resources. However, no matter how much we accumulate, we have to spend it. Qinfeng opened the trading channel again at this time. Soon, he bought another batch of seeds, including potatoes, pumpkins, watermelons, etc. He did not buy higher level seeds, but bought some E-level seeds. These things have a short planting cycle and are not expensive. But Qinfeng did not plan to sell them. Instead, he prepared to use them as food reserves for the territory. After all, eating meat alone can satisfy the need for fullness, but the nutrients are not balanced. Moreover, if the food in the territory is rich enough, it may be able to stimulate the enthusiasm of the people in the territory to work. That's it. After a consumption, only 100 resources were consumed. This kind of low-level seeds, in this early stage, the average price is about 20 resources. There are still 211 resources left. Qinfeng did not keep it, and directly chose to build a blacksmith shop and a medical clinic. Resources are exhausted, but Qinfeng is not panicking at all, because the battle log is still updating from time to time with battle information. Indeed, after the previous spoils were delivered, Qinfeng directly sent Daisy and others out again, without giving them time to rest. This style is very inhumane. But on the first day, time is resources, resources can improve the territory, and the improvement of the territory can quickly stretch the combat power. There is no way, in order to be strong in the future and not be conquered by other lords. It must be more demanding in the early stage. Hey, all I can do now is to make the food better. It's a pity that there are no people with talent in cooking. I can only do it myself. Qinfeng curled his lips and asked the woodcutter to take back some wood. Then, he drilled it in an empty position and ignited it. Skewer the meat and grill it. A series of operations were done in one go. This is thanks to the learning in the War Academy. You know, in the War Academy, you can learn more than just some theoretical knowledge. Survival, even cooking. Qinfeng has excellent results. Moreover, although the Lord does not recommend taking risks in the early stage and leading the soldiers to open up wasteland. But this does not mean that the Lord can only lie in the wooden house like a salted fish. Research data shows that if the Lord can do something within his ability, he may be able to inspire his people and gain some buffs. Among them, making food for the people in the territory in the early stage is a very good choice. The night is coming. The remaining time is getting closer and closer. The whole sky is also much darker at this moment. At the same time, the temperature is also dropping. However, at this time, Qinfeng has already finished making a fire. And as it is roasted, pieces of chicken, pork, and rabbit meat begin to sizzle with oil. And beside Qinfeng, there are some simple seasonings piled up, such as salt, pepper and the like. This kind of thing can also be produced in the endless world. And the drop rate is not low, and the price is not high. Therefore, Qinfeng only spent less than 10 resources to buy a part. Soul juice, pour it. After a mix, the whole barbecue began to emit a throbbing fragrance. Done. Next, control the fire to a small level and slowly bake and keep warm. Although Qinfeng couldn't help licking his lips at this moment. But he still planned to have dinner after Daisy and others came back together. However, just at this time, suddenly, a prompt sounded in the battle log. Qinfeng was shocked. What good stuff has appeared again? Qinfeng muttered. He had made a setting in the battle log. All E and F level items do not need to be reported. After all, with the increase of subsequent battle sequences, when sweeping around the territory, those prompt sounds, if still on, will sooner or later cause nervous breakdown. Therefore, Qinfeng set it up. Now only C level, or C level, quality items will be reported when they are dropped. With a little curiosity, Qinfeng looked at the battle log. Then, his eyes lit up instantly. Ding, your hero Daisy, level 5, found a wild camp, elite level. It's a wild camp. Qinfeng was surprised again and again. Wild camps are randomly distributed in the endless continent. They are of different types and races. The effect is that after occupation, the camp will regularly produce army types of different levels. At the same time, according to the grade of the camp, it has its own temporary territory area. That is, the lord who occupies the camp can build buildings and deploy troops within the camp. According to Qin Feng's understanding. In fact, it is the same as the so-called dividing minds in some games in the previous life. Of course, whoever occupies this camp is whoever. And generally, there are strong defensive forces around the wild camp. It is not so easy to capture. In the ranking of endless world resources in the War Academy, except for the rewards of the mission competition. Under the same grade, the first one is the mineral vein. The second one is the wild camp. In the back, what are the treasure chests and drawings? The territory has not reached level 5, and the ability of telepathy has not been unlocked. Even if it reaches level 3, the ability of Soul Eye can be unlocked. Qin Feng can only worry now. Because the current territory level is too low. Many lord skills have not been unlocked. For example, telepathy can communicate with the hero units under his command over a long distance. In this way, he can know what is happening with Daisy now, and communicate with her and discuss countermeasures. Even if the Eye of the Soul is unlocked, he can still separate a ray of soul power, bind the hero unit, and investigate the battle situation from a distance. However, at this moment, Qin Feng only has 2 lord abilities. The first one is naturally the Eye of Exploration, that comes with level 1. I'm so anxious. Qin Feng paced back and forth in the territory at this time, and opened the battle log. He was really afraid that Daisy would directly choose to attack the camp area. Although Daisy's level has been upgraded to level 5 at this moment, and her strength rating has reached level 32. But this strength is not invincible. If she is left outside now, that would be a big loss. Fortunately, there was no such message that made him collapse in the battle log. That's it. More than 20 minutes later, at the gate of the city wall, when Qin Feng saw Daisy and the 8 soldiers all returned, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. And Daisy and others also came to Qin Feng at this time. Lord, this is the harvest of this hunting operation. Daisy waved slightly at this time. In the back, 8 soldiers, all carrying large pieces of animal meat, animal skins, and some other small items, presented them to Qin Feng. Qin Feng nodded slightly, praised it, and was about to ask about the field camp. At this time, Daisy had already spoken first. Lord, just now during the exploration, I found a camp. The energy contained in the camp is not weak, it should be of elite quality. Qin Feng looked solemn and said, then what? How is the surrounding defense force? Daisy frowned and said, after a rough exploration, the defense force is not too strong. It seems that a dwarf tribe is guarding here. However, because it is too late, I chose not to take action. Besides, the number of personnel in the territory is not enough. Even if it is taken, it is estimated that it will be difficult to defend. Qin Feng heard this, nodding slightly. Praise, well done. Now is indeed not the time to move that camp. Besides, if it is a dwarf tribe in the wild, the value is really not low. It would be a pity to kill it directly. Qin Feng thought seriously at this time. Endless continent. In addition to these heavenly lords, who came from outside, the endless world also has local forces of various races. Of course, these local forces are generally called wild monsters by these lords. This kind of force can be conquered. Especially if you encounter wild monsters of the same race, the difficulty of conquering is lower. Under normal circumstances, most lords will not conquer people from other races. First, it is generally recognized that those who are not of my race must have different hearts. It is difficult to cultivate loyalty among soldiers of different races. Second, there is no lord's heart to unlock subsequent technology and upgrade. These wild races are recruited at the same level as they are recruited. That is, there is no growth potential. However, some of these races are very popular. Among them, there is the dwarf race. In the endless world, there are also thousands of indigenous tribes. Most of them will not think about conquering people who are not of the same tribe. Especially some tribes are unruly and do not spend such energy. But there are some races that are exceptions. For example, dwarves, elves, zerg queens, demon monkeys, etc. These tribes, even after being conquered, cannot unlock subsequent technologies and improve their strength. But their inherent racial characteristics are extremely useful. For example, dwarves. Almost every dwarf is a natural forger. And they are extremely sensitive to all kinds of wars. In addition, they are short but strong, so they can enter and exit some natural narrow mines. At this time, Qin Feng was thinking in his heart. If possible, it would be best to conquer all of this dwarf tribe as much as possible. However, if you want to conquer dwarves, Qin Feng recalled the courses he had learned in the academy. Among them, there was information about dwarves. Speaking of which, it does meet the most basic conditions for subjugation. Qin Feng muttered to himself at this time. The most basic condition he mentioned was, in the ranking of all races, it is higher than the dwarf race. As for what is the assessment of all races, it involves the strength of each race in the central realm. Simply put, it means that every new lord, after continuous growth, expansion and development, when the territory reaches level 10, it will trigger the promotion assessment. Once the assessment is successful, the entire territory can be moved to the central realm of the endless world. Central realm. The resources are more abundant. But at the same time, the competition is more intense. The lords of various races form a group and conquer each other. And the human race, although the weak ones are very weak, but the strong ones are also very strong. Therefore, under the union of strong men, they occupied a large area of the central realm, which is called human realm. The human realm is one of the top 10 forces in the central realm. Naturally. Because of this reason, the human race is also ranked in the top 10 in the racial ranking. As for the dwarves, they are much weaker. Their tribe leaders do not even have the qualifications to occupy a large area independently. Instead, they have established a neutral alliance with some other tribes. Their racial ranking is only 49th. This is very important. Because, in the description of the dwarves, although this tribe is not arrogant, it will never succumb to a weaker tribe than it. For example, a group of goblins wants to conquer this dwarf tribe. Even if the combat power has an advantage, the other party will never succumb. However, even if the race ranks high, but the dwarves are not as soft as the goblins. And speaking of it, the human race ranks high, but because of the unstable strength, the deterrent power is not as good as the dragon race. If you really want to conquer, you still need overwhelming force. After thinking about it, Qin Feng looked at Daisy and asked, "How many people are there?" Daisy thought about it and said hesitantly, "Not sure. Because their tribe seems to live underground. I just did a rough investigation. But they shouldn't be very strong." Qin Feng nodded and said, "Okay, I understand. Put this aside for now. Everyone has worked hard all day. Let's eat." After saying that, Qin Feng took away a huge leaf. The roasted meat, which had been roasted for a long time, immediately gave off an alluring aroma. Wow! Daisy was surprised, and the 8 soldiers all showed eager eyes. Qin Feng called out at this time, "Everyone, let's go home and have dinner." Following Qin Feng's call, the lumberjacks who had been working for most of the day, as well as several people who were planting, also gathered around. Qin Feng himself was also hungry, and immediately said, "Everyone, let's eat." After the words fell, Qin Feng would not be polite, and took the lead in picking up a roasted pig's trotter. Everyone sat together and started dinner. At this time, Qin Feng was not idle. While gnawing on the pig's trotter, while doing 2 things at the same time, he collected the hunting materials of everyone. Soon, as the collection was completed, the resource point reached an unprecedented value, 1597. Upgrade. Qin Feng did not hesitate and directly consumed 1000 resource points. The Lord's hut was instantly surrounded by white light. After doing all this, Qin Feng sat with everyone and devoted himself to eating. Half an hour later, after eating and drinking, at this time, the upgrade of the territory was finally completed. The prompt sound rang out. "Ding, your territory is upgraded to level 3. Ding, your territory is upgraded to 100 times 100. Ding, you have obtained a new lord skill, Soul Eye. Ding, you have unlocked new buildings, Watchtower, Mine. Ding, you have obtained the Miracle Blessing, and obtained the building, Fountain of Life. Required for the next upgrade. 1. Resources times 10,000. 2. Population greater than 100. 3. Prosperity greater than 1,000. 4. Comprehensive score greater than 5,000. 5. Exploration area greater than 500. The prompt sound rang for a long time. Fortunately, such prompts do not require Qin Feng to remember them completely. Instead, they will be recorded in the territory log. Therefore, no information will be missed. As the prompt sound ended, Qin Feng also opened the territory log directly, looking at the information about the territory upgrade while touching his chin. Sure enough, upgrading a level 3 territory to level 4 requires more resources and conditions. Surprisingly, it requires a full 10,000 resources. Qin Feng sighed. However, he was not surprised, because he knew this long ago. According to the course, territories of levels 1 to 3 are called lower-level villages. Territory of levels 4 to 6 has completed a scale upgrade and is called intermediate villages. Territory of levels 7 to 10 is high-level villages. Upwards, there are cities, kingdoms, and dynasties. After sighing, at this time, Qin Feng also strode towards the farmland area. Then, his mind connected with the unit. Do you want to consume 100 resources to upgrade the level 2 farmland to level 3? Yes. Qin Feng designated the field where the spiritual rice was planted. Resource consumption. After the advancement is completed, the size of the farmland has changed from 2 times 2 to 3 times 3, which is more than twice the area. And its yield has also increased from the expected 2 to 3 units to 3 to 5 units. Chapter 11. I hope I can have better luck. Qin Feng only upgraded this piece of farmland. At present, there is no need to upgrade the other pieces of farmland for the time being. It is not very cost-effective. So, after doing all this, Qin Feng's eyes also looked directly at the miracle building obtained after upgrading to level 3. And then, after taking a look, it has expanded to 100 times 100, a full 10,000 square meters of territory. Well, very spacious. Therefore, even if the area required for this fountain of life reaches the range of 10 times 10, it is enough to be easily placed. And as the building module is placed, a white light flashed. In an instant, a clear spring came into view. The spring water is clear, but it exudes a strong breath of life. And Qin Feng also checked the information of the building as soon as possible. Fountain of Life. Grade. SSS. Life Essence. 3 drops of life essence are produced daily, and 9 units of water of life are produced daily. Life Standpoint. All friendly units within 1,000 meters of the Fountain of Life will have their physical strength and energy recovery speed increased by 10 times. Life Essence. After taking it, the unit's quality will be improved by 1 level, with the upper limit being S level. Water of Life. After taking it, all injuries will be restored, and curses will be removed depending on the strength. The dosage will be different. Long-term use can improve the quality of life. The message came into his eyes. Qin Feng's eyelids jumped slightly. After a long time, finally, he said to himself, awesome. Simple evaluation, but it is Qin Feng's highest praise. And the fact is that it is indeed awesome. 2 effects. Life Standpoint is very abnormal. Physical strength and energy recovery speed increased by 10 times. This means that the craftsman units under his command can almost be transformed into perpetual motion machines. Once tired, go around the fountain. It can quickly restore physical strength and energy. The same is true for combat units. Especially in the process of defending the city, it can minimize casualties and ensure that the combat units are in good condition. Then, the remaining effects. Produce the source of life and the water of life respectively. Needless to say, the water of life is a super healing potion. And 1 unit, in terms of water resources, is a full 1 liter. 9 units are produced every day, which is 9 liters, and the output is not low. And even the water of life is an S-level consumable. If it is sold, Qin Feng estimates that 1 unit can easily sell more than 500 resources. However, this is not the most exaggerated. The most exaggerated thing is the source of life produced. This thing can actually improve the quality of life, that is, to upgrade an E-level unit to the maximum S level. This is equivalent to, as time goes by, Qin Feng can continuously create people with S-level potential. Of course, At this stage, giving this thing to a unit that is too low level is definitely not worthwhile. According to Qin Feng's idea, it should be used by at least B-level talents or even A-level talents to obtain the maximum benefit. In particular, A-level talents are upgraded to S-level talents. How huge is this upgrade? In the course materials of the War College, there is a special mention. A-level talents are called superior, but S-level talents are called prodigy. Life quality and military quality are not the same thing. Life quality is reflected in innate attributes, the performance of the human race is special physique, element affinity, and spiritual roots, while the military grade represents the inheritance system. I was amazed. At this time, there was already a prompt sound. The spring water has been produced. It can be extracted directly. But Qin Feng did not extract it. After all, he did not have a container at the moment. And placing it directly in the spring of life is also a storage method. Unfortunately, Daisy has passed the stage where she can use it. Qin Feng sighed at this time. The thunder fruit that Daisy took has the same effect as the origin of life. They all enhance her life essence. And the effect of the thunder fruit is even more powerful. It directly upgraded it to SS level and possessed super thunder affinity. At the same time, it also greatly improved her physique, spirit, etc., which made her become a legendary hero. The origin of life has no effect on Daisy at this moment. Thinking in her heart, at this time, Qin Feng suddenly came back to his senses. By the way, the territory has been upgraded to level 3, and the mysterious orchard should produce fruits again. And the eternal wall should also have improved its effect. Qin Feng reacted. First, he explored the effect of the eternal wall. As expected, at this moment, the thickness and height of the eternal wall have been slightly improved. In addition to the expansion of the territory, the entire city wall still has 4 gates, but the attached arrow towers and fortresses have increased to a full 16. Each side has 4 arrow towers and 4 fortresses. As for its durability, it has been increased to 50,000. The defense level has been increased to level 40. The improvement is also huge. Let me see what fruits have been produced again. After checking the information of the eternal wall, Qin Feng walked towards the orchard. After the mysterious orchard was upgraded, the fruit trees inside became taller and taller, and sometimes flashed a strange stream of light, which was extremely magical. As he walked into the orchard, Qin Feng saw at a glance that a fruit similar to mango was formed in the grass under the fruit tree. Not on the tree. While muttering, Qin Feng chose to collect the fruit. Ding! Congratulations on getting the B-level fruit, intermediate experience fruit. Hearing the prompt sound, Qin Feng was slightly stunned. Just B-level. The disappointment was beyond words. However, soon, Qin Feng adjusted his mentality and smiled bitterly. Yes, if this mysterious orchard produces S-level or even SS-level fruits, it would be abnormal. There must be high and low. While feeling emotional, Qin Feng glanced at the latest fruit. Intermediate experience fruit. Effect. Experience value plus 5000 after taking it. After seeing the effect, at this time, Qin Feng looked at Daisy, who was taking a walk in the territory after eating, and then greeted her. Soon, accompanied by a flash of lightning, Daisy instantly crossed a distance of dozens of meters and came to Qin Feng, curiously asking, "Lord, what do you want?" Qin Feng took out the fruit. "Here, eat it." This time, Daisy did not refuse as before, and took the fruit directly. Ding! Your hero, Daisy, takes the intermediate experience fruit and the level is upgraded. 5 up pointing arrow 26. A leap of 21 levels. This increase is already very high. After all, Daisy is now a legendary hero, and the experience points required for upgrading are already quite a lot. She went out hunting for several hours during the day, and she was only able to upgrade to level 5. Now, she can be upgraded to level 26 in one go. The effect of the fruit is completely worthy of the quality of B grade. As Daisy is upgraded to level 26, her combat power rating has also changed significantly. Daisy, Legendary Hero, Super Thunder Affinity. Skills, Thunder, Thunder Flash. Combat power rating, 44 talent plus 3, breaking level minus 20. As Daisy's level increases, after reaching level 30, the difficulty of breaking levels is getting greater and greater. Even after reaching level 90, the improvement brought by the legendary hero may only be able to break through one level. This is also reflected in the difficulty of upgrading. Whenever you reach a level bottleneck, such as 10 to 11, the experience required for upgrading is much higher. But for now, Daisy still has the ability to fight 2 levels higher. In terms of strength, the improvement is still huge. Next, there are still some resource points left. Don't use them in a hurry, let's talk about it tomorrow. Qin Feng yawned at this time. First, he was a little tired. Second, he had just eaten, and most of the blood was supplied to the stomach, resulting in reduced blood flow to the head, which would make him sleepy. So, Qin Feng arranged for everyone to rest. Then, he looked at Daisy and said, "You can live in the Lord's mansion first." Daisy blushed when she heard this, but she didn't refuse. The territory was upgraded to level 3. The Lord's cottage was naturally upgraded again. From the previous 2-story wooden house, it was upgraded to a small villa. It was 3 stories high, with a terrace and a small garden. The number of houses inside has also increased to 6. It is naturally more than enough to accommodate Daisy. As everyone went back to their rooms, Qin Feng also lay down directly on the cushioned bed. Not long after, he fell into a deep sleep. In the other room, Daisy tossed and turned on the bed, her slender legs clamped around the quilt, a little absent-minded. "Lord, will you favor me?" "Woo, I think so. During dinner today, he secretly glanced at my chest 36 times and thighs 22 times. And he gave me so many precious items." Daisy muttered in her heart. Qin Feng never thought that some of his little actions did not escape Daisy's eyes. However, time passed by minute, until Daisy heard the slight snoring from next door, and the whole person was not good. She looked at the ceiling with lifeless eyes. "Isn't that so?" Daisy fell into deep thought. Qin Feng didn't sleep until dawn. Because, at midnight, a loud reminder sound suddenly rang out. "Ding, the ranking of the first day of the resource competition will be announced soon." An abrupt sound. It woke Qin Feng up from his sleep. Then, he naturally lost his sleepiness and hurriedly sat up and crossed his legs on the bed. "Are you going to announce today's ranking? My ranking should not be low." Qin Feng murmured in his heart, and he was still quite confident about the overall progress of today. Especially in the area of resource collection. Hunting plus logging, although there is no detailed calculation, but according to Qin Feng's estimation, it must be more than 3,000 resources. It would be too exaggerated if so many resources could not be on the list. Thinking in his heart, at this time, Qin Feng also opened the chat channel while the ranking was not announced. Although it was late at night, but it was obvious that most of the lords either did not sleep or were awakened by the reminder sound just now. This made the chat channel extremely active at this moment. Among them, Qin Feng saw some of the lords' speeches that were deliberately recorded at a glance. "Baina. The first one must be me. As a labor unit with the blood of my race, my work efficiency is far superior to that of you inferior races. Vivian. Sorry, Lord Dragon, although I admit that dragons are very strong, the vegetation in this mountain forest is dense, and the natural elves of my race can directly absorb the essence of nature. The speed of collecting resources is beyond your imagination." "Niu what are you talking about? Has the territory been upgraded to level 3? Those who are not at level 3 should stop talking. Li Chushui, are there any big guys in the human race? You can contact me. I am forming an alliance. Tu Shanyu, the cunning human race is starting to make alliances again. Wang Gang, you can do it, but unfortunately, you can't do it, right? Bai Na, the great dragon race does not need allies, only followers and surrenderers." Looking at the messages one by one, most of them are useless. But among them, Qin Feng still cares a little about Li Chushui's speech. Sure enough, have some humans started to form an alliance? Should I join? Qin Feng pondered in his heart. Under normal circumstances, it is actually a more reasonable choice for all races to keep each other warm. Let's ask later. Qin Feng finally decided to contact Li Chushui later. And just at this time, the magnificent voice of heaven resounded again. "Ding, announce today's resource competition ranking. Number 100, Lord Garcia, Winged Man, collected resources, 1966. Number 99, Lord, Kaiser, Ape Man, collected resources 1971. The rankings began to be announced one after another at intervals of almost 3 seconds. Qin Feng showed his expectation. However, the final result. It was not too good. Number 9, Lord, Qin Feng, human, collected resources, 3,252. Only 9th place. Qin Feng sighed in his heart. But he could understand. In fact, from a certain perspective, my luck on the first day today was just average. I didn't drop any high-quality blueprints or items. I didn't find any mineral veins, spiritual wood, or other things of high value. The only thing I was lucky about was that I found a wild camp, but I didn't have time to attack it. I was able to enter the top 10. That was purely because Daisy's combat power was too strong. Starting as a legendary hero, she relied on her force to hunt and obtain such resources. I was feeling emotional. At this time, Qin Feng saw a familiar name. 8th place, Lord, Yu Xiaoyu, human, collected 3,288 resources. It's really a human. Qin Feng showed a look of understanding. Because, before, he looked at the other party's name and chat style, and felt that the other party was very much a human. Now, his guess has been confirmed. But speaking of it, this guy can be ranked ahead of me because I contributed 700 resources to him. Resource competition. The rules of the competition are very simple. That is, during the competition, resources can be accumulated through various methods such as plundering, picking, planting, and dropping. During this period, ranking is based on total income. Naturally, resources can also be obtained by selling items. Of course, this kind of competition is relatively fair and there will be no loopholes. Items cannot be hoarded in advance. Even if these things have not been picked in the fields, everything needs to be harvested during the competition. Qin Feng was sighing. At this time, the announcement continued. 7th place, 6th place, 5th place. The resources accumulated by the previous rankings are still slowly increasing. But until the 4th place. 4th place, Lord, Lena, Moonlight Elf, collected resources, 5,601. Listening to the announcement, Qin Feng's eyes widened slightly. Because, compared to the 5th place, this is thousands of more resources. At the same time, the chat channel was also in an uproar. Oh my god, 5,601 resources. This has already upgraded the territory to level 3. Not only that, I guess I don't know how many soldiers and laborers have been recruited. My territory is only level 2. This is too exaggerated. According to this efficiency, won't it be upgraded to level 4 tomorrow? Everyone was amazed. This is not surprising. After all, normally speaking, a new lord can collect a total of 1,000 resources on the first day, upgrade the territory to level 2, and recruit some soldiers, which is considered qualified. Those who can upgrade to level 3 are almost all extremely lucky or ethnic lords with sufficient foundation. More than 5,000 resources. It is indeed a bit exaggerated. However, next, the 3rd place. It is also more than 5,000 resources. The resources collected by the 2nd place even reached 6,000 plus. Intel, 1st place, Lord, Liu, human, collected resources, 8,541. The numbers appeared, exploded instantly. Even though he was prepared, Qin Feng couldn't help but grin at this time. This guy, could there be some spiritual mine near the territory? This is the most reasonable guess that Qin Feng can think of. Otherwise, it is impossible to obtain such resources. It was a great shock. In the end, Qin Feng could only sigh. In the endless world, there are countless opportunities. After all, there is good luck. Besides, the lead on the first day is nothing at all. The next 2 days are the top priority. What's more, according to the saying, the amount of resources in each territory should be equal. This is based on the experience summarized by countless lords over the years. In each territory, the initial resources are the same. However, some people are lucky and can find relatively high-level resources at the beginning, so they naturally have a smooth start. But in fact, as long as they continue to explore the area around the territory, any lord can find high-level resources. However, the types of these resources may be different. For example, today someone dropped a C-level building blueprint. For example, Qin Feng has also discovered a C-level outdoor camp. Besides, some things cannot be compensated by the large number of resources. Qin Feng narrowed his eyes at this time. The thunder fruit he obtained today. SS level items. This is not something that can be produced in the novice area at all. If it is sold, even Qin Feng does not know how much the price will be. Because, in history, there has basically been no sale of items of this grade. Or, even if there is, it is not something that a freshly graduated student like Qin Feng can know. His heart became calmer. At this time, what Qin Feng had never expected was that a private chat invitation was sent over. Li Chushui, Lord Qin Feng. Looking at the message sent by the other party. Qin Feng thought about it and replied. Qin Feng. Li Chushui, I invite you to join the Thousands of Armies Alliance, established by Big Brother Li Yu. Li Chushui, we are all human beings, so we should help and support each other. Li Chushui, you should know that although there are no super tribe lords in the area where we landed, there are top tribes. Li Chushui, Dragon tribe, and even I know a behemoth tribe, are all in our area. Li Chushui, Big Brother Li Yu aims to unite everyone, grow and protect everyone. Li Chushui, you only need to pay 500 resources every day to join the alliance. What do you think? Originally, looking at the message sent by the other party, Qin Feng was thinking, why not join an alliance? After all, it seems that there is no harm. And as the saying goes, it is better to have one more friend than one more enemy. Maybe in the future, you can buy some things cheaply from your allies. But after reading the last message from the other party, Qin Feng had a question mark on his face. Qin Feng, do we have to pay for resources? Li Chushui, this is for the group. Qin Feng, Li Chushui, you should know that a high-level territory can easily crush several low-level lords by recruiting high-level soldiers. Li Chushui, this is to concentrate resources and improve the strength of Li Yu, the leader of the alliance, so that we can gain a firm foothold. Qin Feng, why can't you choose me as the leader? I promise that I can definitely develop and protect everyone. Li Chushui, haha, you don't have this strength. Did you see the list just now? To tell you the truth, Li Yu, the leader of the alliance, found a silver mine on the edge of the territory at the beginning. He was ahead of us at the beginning. We can't compare. Qin Feng, then I also found a wild camp. Li Chushui, really, please send the coordinates of your territory. Alliance leader Li Yu will send someone over. At that time, I hope you can send troops to assist, take down the camp, and help the alliance leader defend it. Let's talk about this. Qin Feng is already too tired to complain. Although, he had heard that some alliances would charge fees to upgrade a territory. And this is indeed a more reasonable way. But there are prerequisites. First of all, as the leader of the alliance, you must have the courage and strength to convince others. Secondly, as the leader of the alliance, you need sufficient development potential. And, no matter what, it is unheard of that you have to pay a fee to join. Trust has not been established, and you dare to ask for money. What's more, in Qin Feng's opinion, this fee is really a bit outrageous. Even the last request is a bit incredible. The resource points found near my territory require me to help you send troops to attack, and also to help you send troops to garrison. Eating and taking, whimsical. Qin Feng was too lazy to complain and blocked her directly. But even so, Qin Feng couldn't help but say, stupid. He was a little angry. At this time, the door of the room was pushed open. Qin Feng was stunned and looked at the pretty figure at the door, just about to speak. The figure pounced on him gently and kissed his red lips. So sweet, so moist. Qin Feng was completely lost. Westerners still have their advantages. Passionate and unrestrained. Hiss. Qin Feng was just thinking about it. Suddenly, he took a breath of cold air. Time is like flowing water. A night passed quietly. When the first ray of sunlight in the morning fell, Qin Feng gently opened the door and looked at the fountain of life next to the Lord's hut. Luckily you were here, otherwise I might not be able to withstand it. Qin Feng murmured in his heart. At this time, Daisy appeared quietly with a red face in the back. Then, she said, I'm sorry, Lord, I was a little impulsive. Really? Qin Feng frowned and waved his hand. Forget it, I forgive you. Wash up and prepare breakfast. Daisy nodded hurriedly and turned back to the house. At this time, Qin Feng quickly turned his head, took a look, and gasped again, hiss, it's really round. A new day. Breakfast is simple. Just some barbecue left over from yesterday heated up. When all the people were full and satisfied, Qin Feng directly distributed tasks according to needs. Those who need to cut down trees cut down trees. Those who need to plant and water the land plant and water the land. The hunting team, led by Daisy, went out hunting again. The entire territory became empty again. However, Qin Feng had something to do at this time. First, he strode towards the mysterious orchard. There was no surprise. 3 fruits of different colors and different smells have been produced. Pick, ding, congratulations on getting the A-level skill fruit, Flame Dragon Break. Ding, congratulations on getting the B-level experience fruit. Ding, congratulations on getting the S-level skill fruit, Vajra Shield. My luck seems to be okay. However, I actually produced 2 skill fruits. The fruits produced in this mysterious orchard are really strange. After putting the 3 fruits into the package, for a while, Qin Feng didn't think about who to give them to. Daisy can take an experience fruit. But the remaining 2 skill fruits are not suitable for her. Keep them for now. Mumbling, Qin Feng strode towards the Lord's hut. Then, communicate with the Lord's heart. Recruit. Consume 4 resources to recruit people. Do you want to recruit? Recruit. The words fell. One by one, the people of the territory began to emerge in the territory after the white light dissipated. And this time, Qin Feng recruited a large number of people. It reached a total of 100 people. And he did not only recruit men. He also recruited 40 female units. When the entire recruitment was completed, Qin Feng looked at everyone and said, line up. As soon as the words fell, these recruited people from the territory obeyed the order one after another. Of course, without training, the whole process was rather chaotic. But fortunately, it was successful in the end and the order was completed as required. Qin Feng looked at the many members in front of him, who had lined up in a square shape. His eyes released the detection technique. The information of each member came into his sight. As he scanned the circle, Qin Feng nodded with satisfaction and said to himself, not bad. As expected of the people recruited by the level 3 territory. Among these people, a total of 100 people. Among them, 79 people have various talents or some basic skills. Among them, most are E-level and F-level. But there are also a total of 8 people with talents or skills above level D. One of them is as burly as a bull, with a height of more than 2 meters and extremely developed muscles. Talent, natural strength D-level talent, even greater strength. Such talents are naturally suitable for transfer to soldiers. After their transfer, their basic combat power will basically be stronger than the same type of soldiers. In addition, there are also people with low-level wood element affinity. In the end, Qin Feng arranged them to grow spiritual rice. After all, for elemental soldiers, low-level element affinity is a bit too low. It is too low to help in combat, but it has a good effect to grow some spiritual fruits, spiritual rice, etc. The little affinity can make such personnel more sensitive to the state of the crops planted, so that the plants can grow better. In addition, there are some people who do not have talents. But they have some skills, such as intermediate medical skills, intermediate cooking skills, intermediate woodcutting. Qin Feng also distributed them according to their talents. When the distribution was completed, the territory, which was originally a little empty, seemed busy at this moment. Of course, because the territory is still in the initial development stage, there is not enough industry to support it. Most people went out to cut wood. Later, when the territory became more prosperous, these people in the territory did not need Qin Feng to arrange tasks. Will spontaneously choose to do something. However, that basically has to be at least after the 7th or 8th level of territory. Today's goal, level 4 territory, also to take over that wild camp. Qin Feng returned to the cabin, looked at the thriving territory, and set today's basic goals. However, now, resources are still lacking. All he can do is still wait. But compared to yesterday, today's waiting process is not so boring. Because, this morning, he had already used the soul eye to attach to Daisy. At this moment, after the planning of things, finally activated the ability. With the activation of the ability, I felt dizzy and black in an instant. Then, a dense jungle appeared in front of me. At the same time, because the soul eye is viewed from a perspective suspended above the binder. Therefore, Qin Feng saw that in the dense forest, Daisy was extremely sensitive in the bushes. Change the perspective. The 8 warriors behind followed closely, each carrying some spoils of war. Just like that, they moved forward all the way. At this time, suddenly a striped python on the big tree next to them suddenly launched an attack. The sudden attack scared Qin Feng, who was in the situation. However, in the next moment, Qin Feng saw that Daisy turned into a ray of lightning and instantly penetrated the giant python. Only a piece of meat and a crystal core were left on the ground. In the back, several warriors quickly stepped forward to pick up items. This was the first time Qin Feng saw Daisy take action. Seeing that a kill was completed so easily, he had to sigh at this time. Is this the legendary hero? No wonder he is so powerful. While muttering, Qin Feng, who was in the wooden house, subconsciously supported his waist. This is too fierce, Qin Feng exclaimed, because the moment the giant python attacked, although he was panicked, but he still used the detection technique at the first time. The strength of the giant python was not weak at all. The combat rating reached a full level of 28. It can be said that if Daisy did not exist, only 8 soldiers would attack. Even if they could win, it would be a miserable victory. Without the death of 5 or 6 people, it would be impossible to win. Even the whole team is likely to be wiped out. But, in just a moment, he was killed by Daisy. In amazement, at this time, Qin Feng was suddenly stunned. The ability just now seems to be a new skill. He vaguely remembered that Daisy seemed to have mastered a new skill after upgrading yesterday. However, he didn't pay much attention to it yesterday. At this moment, he just carefully investigated. With the investigation, information about 2 skills emerged. One is called Thunder Flash, which has reached the A-level grade and has a very powerful effect. It is the move that killed the giant python just now. The whole element is completely transformed into a ray of thunder, which directly crushes the enemy. The other one is Thunder, which is also A-level, and can shock the enemy with the sound of thunder and make it fall into fear. The most important thing is, these 2 skills are A-level in themselves. With Daisy's talent enhancement, it can play the effect of SS-level skills. Naturally, it can instantly kill a monster with a combat rating of 28. Daisy's talent is good. She is worthy of being a woman who can fight me to a 50-50. Qin Feng continued to follow Daisy with the soul eye, and sighed in his heart. After all, although the hero unit can comprehend skills with strength, but it still depends on talent and understanding. It doesn't mean that you can comprehend high-level skills after the level is increased. The mainstream skill source of heroes is still in the skill book. And an A-level skill book can be sold for hundreds of thousands of resource points, depending on the time. Of course, now is only the 2nd day after the new lord came. No matter how precious the things are, they will be discounted. Just like the spiritual rice seeds. It's not that they are not precious, but the market determines the price. The importance of 100 resources now is naturally much higher than the 100 resources in the later period. But at least, it can be regarded as saving thousands of resource points. While feeling emotional, Daisy was naturally killing people in this process. Then, soon the soldiers could no longer carry things. Are you going to come back? You can consider making a space storage equipment. Seeing this, Qin Feng also exited the state of the soul eye and turned to open the trading channel. But unfortunately, after a search, at present, there is no such thing for sale in the entire trading channel. That's right, equipment with space attributes is at least sea level or above. Unfortunately, there are no guard-type heroes now, and I'm not very strong now, otherwise I could go out hunting with them, and this problem would be solved. Qin Feng sighed. As a lord, he started with a backpack space of 10 × 10 × 10. That is, 1,000 cubic meters. With such a size, it is not a problem to carry several elephants. But it seems that there is not much shortage now. After all, it's just hunting around the territory. It only takes about 20 minutes to travel back and forth. While muttering in his heart, Qin Feng walked out of the house at this time and quickly came to the edge of the territory. Climbed the city wall. Not long after waiting, he saw Daisy and others return. Ding, conversion completed, your resource points plus 2015. Looking at the resource points that soared to 2,500 plus again. Qin Feng rubbed his hands and walked to the barracks at the first time. Do you want to consume 500 resources to upgrade the primary barracks to the intermediate barracks? Yes. Ding. The upgrade takes 30 minutes. Do you want to consume 10 resources to build a simple wooden house? Yes. Do you want to? Do you want to? The consumption is so fast. Wooden houses are rising from the ground. At the same time, the farmland is expanding and the lumberyard is also upgraded. In a very short time, 1,600 resources are directly consumed. Next, wait for the barracks to be upgraded, then send a wave of soldiers, and then take over the wild camp. Qin Feng had obviously already planned for this wave of resources. And time passed quickly, when a series of white lights appeared. Most of the buildings in the territory are brand new at this moment. Especially the farmland area. Qin Feng has marked out a 9x9 area. There are 2 rows of simple wooden houses, totaling 40. The rest, plus the lumberyard, clinic, blacksmith shop, etc. For a while, the territory was even a little crowded. But this is also related to Qin Feng's choice. In the early stage. In terms of basic buildings, he chose quantity rather than quality. Naturally, it will be a little crowded. However, it is crowded. But it is very practical, and the resources required are much less. Otherwise, take the houses as an example. The construction requirement of level 3 wooden houses is 200 resources, but it can only accommodate 8 people. With a total of 132 people in the territory excluding Qin Feng and Daisy, 17 high-level wooden houses need to be built. That is 3,400 resources. And low-level wooden houses only need 400 resources. However, low-level buildings naturally have the defects of low-level buildings. That is, the increased prosperity is not enough. Level 3 wooden houses increase 100 points of prosperity, while level 1 wooden houses can only increase 10 points. At present, the number of buildings in the territory seems to be overwhelming, stacked up. But it was like a slum, and it couldn't be described as prosperous at all. Let's take over the wild camp later. Qin Feng was not in a hurry about this. He directly summoned the 8 soldiers to the upgraded barracks. At the same time, he also summoned 22 relatively strong people from the territory. Advanced routes can be selected. 1. Lightly armored infantry. 2. Intermediate archers. 3. Intermediate spearmen. 4. Intermediate sword and shield soldiers. Others need to develop corresponding technology, not yet unlocked. All are ordinary 3rd-level soldiers. The 4 advanced routes have their own advantages and disadvantages. 4 routes. Each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Among them, spearmen, archers, and sword and shield soldiers are the same as before. However, as they are upgraded, their levels will increase. And the extra light armored infantry. They are relatively versatile and capable of both attacking and siege. After a brief thought, Qin Feng finally decided to convert 10 light armored infantry, sword and shield soldiers, and archers. He gave up the spearmen. After all, the spearmen have relatively simple combat capabilities. And they are not suitable for fighting in the jungle. With such a choice, soon, accompanied by resource consumption. Just 900 resources went down, 30 combat units with a level of 3 and a combat rating of 22 emerged. It looked like it had already taken shape. And the soldiers were obviously better equipped. Qin Feng grinned. Finally, it looks a bit good. The emotion came from the heart. After all, even the 2nd-level soldiers before. Its appearance can also be described as shabby. The armor on the whole body is dull and most of the torso is exposed. And now, at least it looks like a regular army. Looking at the soldiers in front of him, Qin Feng also organized them into teams. One is mobile team, composed of all light armored infantry. The second is firepower team, composed of all archers. The third is guard team, composed of all sword and shield. And Qin Feng looked at a strong man in the sword and shield at this time. He said, "Qin Dali." In the team, the burly strong man immediately responded loudly, "I'm here, Lord." The strong man was the one who had the talent of huge strength among the recruits before. And Qin Feng specially gave him the name, Dali. As he responded, Qin Feng said at this time, I appoint you as the captain of the guard team. Do you have the confidence to take this position? Chin Dolly patted his chest like a chicken blood. With my body, I must guard the Lord and the territory. Qin Feng nodded with satisfaction, and then, he selected 2 people with stronger foundations from the other 2 teams, and named them, Qin Yi, and Qin Er, in charge of the other 2 teams. As for Daisy, as a hero of the territory, her power is naturally above these captains. You can deploy them. Mobilization completed. At this time, Qin Feng also planned to send troops to attack the dwarf tribe. And this time, he also planned to go to the battle himself. After all, in his heart, he still thought that it would be best to conquer the dwarf tribe. He needed to go to negotiate. However, to be on the safe side, Qin Feng asked someone to make a cup with wood first, and then filled it with the water of life to prevent accidents. Everything is ready. Qin Feng arranged Qin Dolly and the other sword and shield soldiers to guard his surroundings. Daisy was even closer beside him. Let's go. With a wave of his hand, a group of soldiers escorted Qin Feng and walked towards the gate. At this time, a private chat message forced Qin Feng to stop. Who sent me a private message again? Qin Feng frowned, looking a little curious. Open the chat interface. A message immediately caught his eye. Li Yu. Qin Feng, right. I heard that you rejected Chu Shui's invitation and even blocked her. Qin Feng. So what? Li Yu, I'll give you a chance. If you apologize now and take out 500 resources as compensation, I can still forgive you and let you join the alliance. Li Yu. Message failed to send. In a valley, a young man suddenly stood up from a bluestone. His face was instantly gloomy. The young man was Li Yu. Message failed to send. He blocked me too. Interesting. Haha, interesting. Li Yu suddenly laughed. However, his smile was quite hideous. After laughing, he looked at the old man who was sitting in the territory drinking tea. Then, he strode away. Ding, do you want to spend 2,000 resources to buy primary plundering talisman? Yes, purchase completed. A strange sheepskin scroll fell into his hands. Primary plundering talisman. Effect. Can be used on a designated target, and a plundering war will be launched against it after use. Note, the maximum plundering resources can be set to 5,000. Plundering can be forced, but it requires double resources. The scroll was obtained. At this time, a message was sent. Li Chushui, brother Yu, what did that guy say? Li Yu, don't worry, baby, I will let him know what cruelty is. On the other side, after Qin Feng blocked the other party, he didn't think much. He just curled his lips. There are idiots every year, but this year they just came to my house. While talking to himself, he was planning to continue to command the army to set off. At this time, suddenly, a prompt sound rang out. Ding, Li Yu launched a plundering war against you. The plundering bet is 5,000 resources. Do you accept it? Qin Feng's expression was slightly stunned. Then, he couldn't help but mutter to himself, there is such a good thing. He naturally knew what this so-called plundering war meant. It must be that the other party used some props. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the other party to find his territory so quickly at this stage. There is such a good thing. Qin Feng was excited. Because, in this kind of war, as the initiator, it is naturally necessary to be the main attacker. That is to say, there are only 2 conditions for the other party to win. Either, surrender voluntarily, or, break through the defense on your side. You can say, this kind of plunder war launched by relying on props. In itself, if the gap is not quite outrageous, it is difficult to succeed. Generally, it is used by the strong to beat the weak, win without fighting, and extort resources. But obviously, Qin Feng does not think he is a weak person. After all, he does not believe that at this stage, someone can break through the defense of his territory under the coverage of the eternal wall and the fountain of life. Just ready to accept. However, at this time, a prompt sound made Qin Feng's whole mouth rise, turning into a crooked-mouthed dragon king. Ding, the other party launched a forced war against you. After this victory, the resource reward will be doubled. This buddy, what a good man. Qin Feng smiled brightly and immediately changed the next battle plan. Ding, the plunder war will start in 10 minutes. The prompt sounded at this moment. At the same time, in the valley, Li Yu's mouth corners slightly raised, looking at an option. Do you want to announce this plunder war and start guessing? Yes, he made a choice. Please choose the announcement method. 1. Graphics and text method. 2. Live broadcast method. 3. Only announce the results. Looking at the options, Li Yu decisively chose the third method. Although he was confident, but he also knew that it was not appropriate to choose the first two options before there was an absolute advantage. After all, this would expose his own strength. It would let the lords of this area know clearly the types and configurations of his troops. But at the same time, he would not miss this opportunity to deter. Choosing the third method is the most appropriate. It can let some guys who oppose him know the consequences. It also does not need to expose his overall strength. After all, the third method, only the results will be reported. And as he made his choice, at this time, a prompt sounded in the minds of the lords in the area. Lord Li Yu launched a plundering war against Lord Qin Feng. This plundering war will start a guessing game. Guessing countdown. 9 minutes and 45 seconds. After this prompt sound, the chat channel exploded instantly. Hiss, a war has started so soon. It's still between two human races. What's going on? Two people of the same race are going to war. I remember that the human race is relatively united, isn't it? What hatred or resentment? I remember that the drop rate of the plundering charm is very low, right? The lords seemed very confused. At this time, Li Yu spoke. Indeed, our human race has always been united, but there are always some black sheep, like a rat poop. I must conquer such people. The speech was righteous. This scene made Qin Feng, who was looking at the chat channel at the same time, laugh. However, he was too lazy to defend himself. Finally, he turned his emotions into the essence of the country. Stupid dog. Just 2 words made Li Yu furious. Originally, considering that we are of the same clan, I was going to let you go later. You are courting death. Qin Feng ignored him. Instead, he was a little worried. What he was worried about was no resources. The reason for the lack of resources was that he wanted to bet on himself. Because the benefits were too high. So far, in the guessing interface, a total of more than 600 people bet. Among them, more than 500 people bet on Li Yu. This is not surprising. After all, the war was initiated by Li Yu. Under normal circumstances, the initiator of the war must be stronger. In addition, Li Yu ranked first in resource collection yesterday, even crushing the other lords. No matter from which aspect, Qin Feng is at a disadvantage. Naturally, more people bet on Li Yu. This leads to the situation that even if each lord bets a maximum of 100 resources. Today, Li Yusheng's prize pool is as high as 50,000 plus resources. On the contrary, the prize pool for Qin Feng's victory is only less than 10,000. The result is that the odds of both sides are directly raised to the maximum value. Li Yu wins, odds, 0.5. Qin Feng wins, odds, 5. This is the highest odds in the guessing game. Not even 100 resources. I can't get the 500 resources I earned for free. So sad. Qin Feng grinned, feeling that he had lost a lot. After all, in his opinion, this is a resource picked up for free. Although, it is not too much. It was during the sigh. At this time, another private chat was sent. Who is it again? Could it be that at this time, you still have to talk nonsense? Qin Feng was a little speechless, but still looked at the private chat interface. However, it was not what he imagined. The one who sent the message was Yu Xiaoyu. Yu Xiaoyu, did Li Yu start a war against you? Looking at the message, Qin Feng thought about it and replied. Qin Feng, that's me. Yu Xiaoyu, why? Refusing to join the alliance. Qin Feng, you guessed it right, you were also invited. Yu Xiaoyu, yes, but I didn't agree, but declined and said I would think about it. Yu Xiaoyu, it's over, they are so domineering, so I can only agree. Qin Feng, agree, no need, after this wave, that guy is basically gone. Yu Xiaoyu, what do you mean? Qin Feng, what I mean is that I can beat him. Qin Feng, okay, let's not talk about it for now, the war will start in 3 minutes, I have to prepare. The chat is over. Qin Feng looked at the territory 100 meters away. There, a huge light gate has appeared. And this is the next war channel. This portal will last for up to 12 hours. Or, one of the parties will lose. 3 minutes left. To be on the safe side. At this time, Qin Feng called Qin Dali to his side. Then, he took 3 drops of life essence. At this time, Qin Feng naturally could not continue to be stingy, and he had to increase his own combat power as much as possible. Anyway, the life essence can be continuously produced. Moreover, Qin Dali's own talent is also quite good. If he uses it, it is not too bad. And as Qin Dali took the 3 drops of life essence, a series of prompt sounds also rang out. Ding, Qin Dali's life essence is improved, and the talent, huge power, is upgraded to natural power. Ding, Qin Dali's life essence is improved, and the talent, natural power, is upgraded to blood battle body. Ding, Qin Dali's life essence is improved, and the talent, blood battle body, is upgraded to giant god body. Under the prompt sounds, Qin Dali, who was originally more than 2 meters tall, has risen again at this moment. He turned into a nearly 3-meter tall giant. His muscles were like cast steel and iron. His combat power level was also improved. Qin Dali. Army. Intermediate sword and shield. Level 3 ordinary army. Talent. Giant god body physique. Strength greatly improved. Combat power rating +10. Comprehensive rating. Level 32. Although, it is still an ordinary army. But it must be said. At this moment, Qin Dali is a super soldier. His own talent has forcibly raised his combat ability. However, this is not the end. At this time, Qin Feng directly gave him the skill fruit of Vajra Shield. Originally, the army did not have any skills. At this moment, it has an additional A-level skill. In the chat channel, the discussion is still in full swing. I bet 100 resources on Li Yu. Me too. If you dare to start a war, you must be stronger. The question now is how long it will take to end the battle. It shouldn't take long. After all, it's only the second day and everyone's territory construction is still in the early stages. Yes, there is a high probability that no defensive buildings have been built, and the number of soldiers must not be large, and it is far from being a war. While everyone was discussing, at this time, Li Yu spoke. Li Yu, you don't have to guess. In 10 minutes, this battle will be over. Although it was a message sent. But between the lines, there is confidence. Of course, Li Yu is so confident, there is a reason. There is a silver vein near his starting territory. And silver is a C-level resource. 1 unit can be sold for dozens or even hundreds of resources depending on its purity. This start allowed him to easily upgrade his territory to level 3 on the first day. In addition, what is even more exaggerated is that today, a mysterious businessman came to the territory. This allowed him, who already had abundant resources, to make a big purchase. At this moment, in the valley where his territory is located, Li Yu stood with his hands behind his back in front of a group of people. His eyes were sharp. In front of him, there were 50 or 60 soldiers wearing armor, holding bows and arrows, or swords and shields, neatly arranged. They were all human beings. They were all third-level territories. In terms of military type, Li Yu was the same as Qin Feng. However, in terms of quantity, there were many more. But obviously, if that was the case, Li Yu would never start a war easily. After all, this war did not make any profit for him, and he would even lose money. The reason is also very simple. Don't look at the set plundering target, 5,000 resources. But this so-called 5,000 plundering target is just the upper limit, which means that a maximum of 5,000 resources can be plundered. If the attacked party does not have so many resources, they can only admit defeat. The attacked party is not stupid. If challenged, they will definitely convert all resources into combat power. In the end, the buildings that can benefit are those after victory. But now is the early stage. Under normal circumstances, even if the enemy's territory is occupied and all buildings are recovered at this stage, it is difficult to reach 2,000 resources. The challenged party has no resource requirements. But the initiator must meet the looting goals set by himself. That is, the initiator of the looting war must pay enough resources as a deposit. For example, Li Yu at this moment, if he wants to initiate a looting war, he must first pay 5,000 resources. In addition, it is a forced challenge, and he has already paid a full 10,000 points of resources. In this case, naturally, no one will initiate a looting war at will, unless they are fully confident. And obviously, Li Yu is like this. What he relies on is definitely not the more than 60 ordinary third-level soldiers in front of him. His eyes swept over. Among these ordinary third-level soldiers, among them, there were more than 10 who were obviously different. These soldiers wore red armor and held broadswords. Red flame broadsword hand. Third-level soldier. Ace soldier. Combat power rating, 30. This is Li Yu's foundation. Third-level ace soldier. He recruited them with the intermediate soldier recruitment scroll he bought from the mysterious merchant. Although he has not yet reached the point of fighting across levels, he already has the combat power of the peak of the third level. He can easily defeat ordinary third-level soldiers. My hero is also an ace. And he has been specially leveled up. Although he is only level 19 now, he also has the top combat power of level 3. If you add skills, he can barely fight against units with combat power of level 4. Such comprehensive combat power is definitely top-notch even in the entire area. Li Yu chuckled, as if he had seen victory waving to him. On the other side, Qin Feng had already stuffed today's experience fruit to Daisy. After taking another experience fruit, Daisy's level was successfully raised to level 30. This is also the current level cap. The level of heroes, including the level of lords, is linked to the territory. Looking at Daisy, who was close to level 50 in combat power rating, Qin Feng murmured at this time, with Daisy's talent, it is estimated that she can fight against ordinary level 6 creatures. However, we still can't be careless. First focus on defense. While calculating in his heart, at this time, the countdown to the war finally returned to 0. And the space portal connecting the two territories was finally unsealed at this moment. Then, Qin Feng saw a stream of people passing through the portal. However, soon, Qin Feng frowned, because he found that after more than 10 people passed through the portal, the other party's personnel stopped moving. What's going on? Carmen, Qin Feng was a little confused. However, at this moment, Li Yu was even more confused. He watched the first group of people pass through the portal and suddenly stopped. This caused the subsequent personnel to be unable to continue passing through the portal. What's going on? Could it be that the other party has already ambushed outside the door? No, I remember that for the sake of fairness, the other party cannot enter a certain range before the space portal is unsealed. How can the encirclement be formed so quickly? With deep doubts, Li Yu shouted, "What's going on with the people in front?" In front, a question finally came faintly, "Lord, how about we stop fighting?" Hearing this, Li Yu immediately shouted, "Stop fighting! How can we stop fighting? Are you going to rebel? Now, I order you to go through the door." With Li Yu's tough order, the soldiers in front had no choice but to continue moving forward. But at this time, a prompt sounded in Li Yu's mind. Ding, the morale of your soldiers Team 1 and Team 2 has dropped by 50%. Looking at the message that suddenly appeared, Li Yu was a little dumbfounded. Why would morale drop? This. He seemed to stutter instantly, and his mood was agitated. Because morale is the most important hidden attribute in the war process. When morale is high, people are not afraid of life and death, are extremely brave, and can exert higher combat power. When morale is low, several different situations will occur depending on loyalty. Those with low loyalty may directly rebel. Those with high loyalty will also affect combat power, and even directly collapse. But morale, normally speaking, unless it is affected by props, or a series of victories and defeats occur. Otherwise, it is difficult to have a big fluctuation. There is another special situation. That is, there is no hope of victory at all. But, how is it possible? Li Yu's forehead was bulging with blue veins, and it was hard to believe this. And, the most important thing is, he has no way out. After all, he initiated the battle. Even, it was an unconventional battle, but props were used. Therefore, at this moment, he could only take a deep breath and say, "Don't retreat. The enemy is a paper tiger." While speaking, under his urging, the people in front finally moved forward. Then, Ding, the morale of the 3rd and 4th teams under your command has decreased by 50%. Listening to the prompt sound coming from his ears again, Li Yu had the urge to vomit blood. In his heart, an emotion called irritability gradually emerged. He was furious and shouted loudly, "Those who are afraid of fighting will be killed." However, he had said so much. Then, after the 5th and 6th teams crossed the gate, their morale values still dropped. Li Yu blushed and said, "I don't believe it. I have to see what the situation is." While speaking, Li Yu finally crossed the gate accompanied by the hero and the team of red flame swordsmen. The moment he crossed the gate, he looked around. No ambush, no enemy. Li Yu was a little confused. Suddenly, his eyes were attracted by the towering city walls in the distance. Then, he opened his mouth slightly. He finally understood why the morale of his soldiers had dropped one after another. In the distance, the city walls of the territory he was about to attack were so high that even 100 meters away, he could feel the heaviness of the walls. This is, he murmured, and his eyes were no longer as confident as before. Because it's only the early stage of the territory's development. No, even the term, early stage, is too general. This is the 2nd day. Whose territory has already built such fortifications? No siege equipment, no siege troops, to break through such a defense. Is it possible? It would be strange if the morale of the soldiers under his command did not drop. This is like the scene where Ben Borba receives the voice of the soul that has eliminated Tang Sang and his disciples, me. Of course, Li Yu didn't know Tang Sang, but he knew what despair was. His heart was trembling. At this time, from afar, on the city wall, a slightly teasing voice sounded. "Hey, isn't this Alliance leader Li Yu? Surprised, unexpected. Why don't you attack? I'll wait here, come over." Listening to such mocking words, Li Yu's eyes were dim, but he didn't lose his mind. Instead, he slowly came to the front of the army and responded, "I admit that I underestimated you. This kind of fortification is indeed unsolvable at this stage. This time, I admit defeat. But I hope you remember. I will definitely take back the resources lost in this war. And I will take them back twice as much." On the top of the city, Qin Feng didn't care much about Li Yu's harsh words. Instead, he felt a little regretful. This guy is calmer than I thought. He hasn't even launched an attack yet. Before, he thought the other party was a fool. If the other party really took the initiative to attack, relying on the defense of the Eternal Wall, he could easily take down the other party. But now, the other party actually gave up on his own initiative. With a sigh, at this time, Qin Feng turned his head and looked at Daisy. "Can you sense it? How strong is the other party?" At this moment, the two sides are too far apart. His detection technique cannot cover such a long distance. So, he can only ask. And Daisy gave the answer, "Not very strong. I can handle it." Hearing these words, a fierce look flashed in Qin Feng's eyes at this time. He had already prepared in his heart. If the other party took the initiative to attack, relying on the Eternal Wall, he would defend and counterattack. But if the other party did not attack, then make subsequent judgments based on the strength of the other party. If he can take it down, as long as the price paid is not too outrageous, there is no possibility of letting it go. There is no mercy or compassion in war. From the moment the other side declares war on you, there is no way out. Taking a deep breath, Qin Feng took out some of the water of life he had prepared before, handed it to Daisy, and said, "Next, you will have to work hard." Daisy smiled softly, "As bright as a flower, it's not hard. This kind of battle is not as good as the battle last night." Qin Feng was stunned. What was the battle last night? But then, he immediately came back to his senses and glared at Daisy fiercely. "Today's battle will be more fierce. So, don't get hurt. Otherwise, it will be bad to throw away your armor and run away." After the words fell, Qin Feng looked at Qin Dali at this time and said again, "Dali, pay attention to protecting the safety of Commander Daisy. Can you do it?" Below, Qin Dali, who had been waiting at the city gate for a long time, heard the words and patted his chest to assure, "Lord, don't worry." Seeing this scene, Qin Feng also gave Qin Dali 2 bottles of water of life. Although this guy is just an ordinary soldier, the resources invested in him are not low, and it will still hurt if he dies. Everything is ready. Qin Feng finally spoke at this time. Open the city gate. Kill the enemy. After the words fell, no one needed to move. As an SSS level building, the Eternal Wall has the ability to be remotely controlled by voice. The door was opened. 100 meters away. Li Yu's face was very ugly. After all, if he could not win, it meant that he was about to lose 10,000 resources. Although there was a silver mine outside the territory. But the ore in the mine was not unlimited. According to his estimate, the total amount of resources in that mine was only about 100,000 resources. This wave of losses was still painful enough. However, just at this time, he suddenly saw that the huge castle in the distance suddenly opened its gate. This scene even gave him some hallucinations, until he saw soldiers coming out of it one by one. Li Yu was stunned at first, but soon he came back to his senses. Haha, a poor plan. He still did not order an attack. Because in his opinion, Qin Feng's approach was nothing more than trying to lure him over. If he really went over, the other party would immediately return to the city. Then use the fortifications to launch a counterattack. However, just when he thought so, what surprised him was that this group of soldiers did not show off their power at the city gate as expected. Instead, they really advanced towards this side at a fast speed. How could it be? How dare he take the initiative to attack me? Li Yu widened his eyes, full of disbelief. After all, this behavior, in his opinion, is no different from seeking death. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out at all. But at this time, the corners of Li Yu's mouth finally rose 30 degrees, turning into a crooked mouth. In his mouth, he even murmured to himself, although I don't know why. But there is a road to heaven, you don't take it. There is no door to hell, you go in by yourself. Should I say you have courage, or should I say you have a problem with your brain? The smile became more and more brilliant. He was ready to lose 10,000 resources. In the end, what is a surprise? This is a surprise. Seeing that the soldiers under Qin Feng's command have advanced more than half the distance. At this time, Li Yu raised his arm high, intending to order a counterattack. Beside him, a hurried voice rang out first. Lord, be careful. Li Yu was stunned. He was very familiar with this voice. It was the voice of his hero unit. But he was puzzled. Be careful. What is there to be careful about? Just in confusion, he saw that in front of him, a dark blue thunder suddenly rushed into his camp at an incredible speed. Then, a series of prompt sounds rang out at this moment. Ding, your soldiers, light armored infantry, were killed. Ding, your soldiers, intermediate archers, were killed. Ding, the sound of ding ding dang dang continued. In an instant, Li Yu was stunned, and after the astonishment, there was a strong fear. What the hell is this? He still wanted to take a closer look at what it was that killed more than 10 of his soldiers in an instant. On the side, the hero unit he recruited shouted with bloodshot eyes, Lord, what are you still standing there for? Run, run, I'll cover you, you must not die. However, at this time, a voice was already ringing in his ears. Hee, it's too late. With such little strength, you dare to attack the territory of Lord Qin Feng. I really don't know what you are thinking. The voice was pleasant, but it had a sense of, can you do it, little dog, in it. Hearing this sudden voice, at this time, Li Yu finally saw that a girl holding a staff was looking at him with contempt a few meters in front of him. The dead soul was surging. Even more nervous was the hero next to Li Yu. He was a swordsman, holding a long sword, and immediately blocked Li Yu. His eyes were firm, and he looked like he was ready to die. However, the next moment, a ball of thunder appeared on Daisy's staff. Then, an indifferent voice rang out. Thunder. The thunder ball exploded instantly. The roar suddenly exploded. At the same time, circles of fine arcs spread out in all directions. People fell down one by one around them. Li Yu's eyes turned white in an instant, and he fainted without even a second. The battle. It was over just like that. There was no pressure at all. Even after Daisy finished clearing the field, Qin and others in the back finally arrived. And in the back, on the city wall, Qin Feng, who had witnessed everything, was full of astonishment at this time. It's over. It's too fast. Qin Feng couldn't help muttering. He found that he still underestimated Daisy's combat power. In other words, Having a legendary hero at the beginning is a dimensionality reduction strike for most lords. If the battle lasted too long, that would be abnormal. A 6th level combat power, fighting a group of opponents with only 3rd level combat power, is a crushing defeat. In addition, the number of soldiers at this stage is not large, not even 100 people in a group, and the defense line is so thin that the strategic depth may be only a few meters at most. It is normal to have a beheading. When the legion is in the later stage, the probability of beheading will be much lower. I was feeling emotional. At this time, a prompt sound suddenly rang out. Ding, kill the opponent's lord, Li Yu, you won the victory of this war. Ding, you won the reward of this war, resource points times 10000. Hearing this sound, Qin Feng was stunned. Dead. Hiss. Qin Feng's heart did not feel much surprise at this moment. Instead, he had a deeper understanding of the cruelty of the endless world. This time, Li Yu, who came to attack him, was indeed not his opponent. But what if he was replaced by a stronger enemy? The firepower is seriously insufficient. We must speed up development. In addition to strengthening the territory's strength, we must also improve our own strength as soon as possible. Also, the territory must be upgraded to level 5 as soon as possible to build the reincarnation altar. At this moment, Qin Feng's sense of crisis burst out. In an instant, thousands of thoughts flashed through his mind. But soon, Qin Feng gradually calmed down. He actually knew. Situations like Li Yu are indeed special cases. When the gap in combat power between the two sides is too large, any means are futile. What is really important is to improve the comprehensive strength of the territory. And while Qin Feng was brainstorming, one after another, prompt sounds. It also resounded in the minds of other lords. After all, before this, Li Yu chose to announce the results of the war. Ding, the result of the plunder war is announced. The final winner, Lord Qin Feng. The guessing reward will be settled soon. The news was announced. It was like a thunderclap. It's over. That human Qin Feng won. Isn't he the challenged party? The challenger failed. The Li Yu actually lost, causing me to lose 100 resources. The lords were shocked and unbelievable, especially those who lost the guessing, who cursed loudly. Among them, the one who reacted most violently was naturally Li Chushui. Li Chushui. Impossible, how could brother Li Yu lose? He has awakened the A-level talent, which can improve the defense ability of his troops by level 3, and he has also recruited a team of 3-level ace troops, and even the heroes are king level. At Qin Feng, brother Li Yu must have lost on purpose. As soon as these words came out, instantly, in the entire chat channel, it seemed that there was a moment of stagnation in the barrage. Qin Feng, who was tagged, also subconsciously entered the chat channel at this time. Then he looked at the message sent by Li Chushui, and his whole body showed a speechless expression. What the hell? He sold the message of his own leader. And he lost on purpose. What is he after? He wasted a plunder scroll just to come and admire his brother's face because he has a lot of resources. Qin Feng complained in his heart. In the end, he labeled Li Chushui as a fool. Well, a fool dog and a fool egg, it's really a perfect match. While muttering in his heart, at this time, the chat channel exploded again. Such a strong man, but was defeated, doesn't that mean? Hiss, isn't this Lord Qin Feng too strong? Besides, have you found a problem? What problem? Don't keep me in suspense. I also found that there are only 999 people left in the chat channel. Could it be? It's obvious. After all, we are still under the protection of the Lord. Normally, unless we commit suicide, our safety is guaranteed and we will not be killed by monsters. Only the war between lords. Lord Qin Feng, I hope to conclude a friendly alliance with you. Me too. I'm different, human leader, do you need a lackey? My goblin warriors will fight for you. After the analysis of the lords in the chat channel, the whole chat style has changed. This scene made Qin Feng look weird, but he had to say that he was quite happy in his heart. Could it be that this is invisible pretense, the most deadly? However, Qin Feng would not respond at this time. He has no plans to establish an alliance for the time being. Although establishing an alliance has many advantages, it also has many disadvantages. Moreover, as a lord, establishing an alliance can only be regarded as a relatively low-level means of integrating combat power. The truly powerful lords directly sign a master-servant contract and focus on all nations coming to pay tribute. Just preparing to close the chat channel. What Qin Feng did not expect was that Li Chushui appeared again. Li Chushui, you killed brother Li Yu. Brother Li Yu is from the Tianai Li family. You are so brave. You are dead. Looking at the news, Qin Feng laughed at this time. He really knew the Tianai Li family. Simply put, it is a large family, and its family is quite powerful. It is said that there are strong people who have reached the Central Realm. As for the number of other high-level lords, it is even more considerable. In other words, if he returns to reality, he will indeed be in a state of panic. Indeed, the lord can return to reality. This is why Qin Feng can go to school at the War Academy. Humans also have a corresponding social system in the real world. In the rules of the endless world, as long as the new lord passes the rookie stage, he can travel between reality and the endless world. The lord can still retain the level and strength in the endless world. Even some powerful lords can summon some hero units to go to reality. But, what does this have to do with me? Qin Feng grinned. Don't you know, I'm a congenitally traversing holy body. Starting alone, there is no need to return to reality. Therefore, Qin Feng didn't pay any attention to Li Chushui's shouting. Directly closed the chat channel. Looking back to the territory again. At this time, Daisy was already commanding Qindali to suppress a group of Li Yu's remnants and came to the city gate. No, to be precise, these are no longer Li Yu's remnants. Because, with the death of Li Yu, there is no belonging mark on the heads of these soldiers, and they are already wandering units. Similarly, now, Li Yu's territory is the same. Unit buildings, including the people in the territory, have also become wandering units. Over time, these people without belonging will gradually integrate into the endless world. This is also the origin of some local forces. Thinking of this, Qin Feng couldn't help but feel a little distressed at this time. Li Yu started the war with the props. When the war ended, the portal disappeared. What a pity. Otherwise, just occupy the guy's territory and mines, and get a lot of money. Of course, Qin Feng was just complaining. He has made a lot of money with this wave of income. A reward of 10,000 resources. And, if these remnants can be conquered, it will also be a lot of resources. Thinking in his heart, at this time, Daisy has returned to the city and came to Qin Feng's side, smiling sweetly. Lord, I am lucky to have fulfilled my mission and successfully defeated the opponent. Qin Feng nodded and praised him immediately. And Daisy's smile was even brighter at this time. He even sighed. What a pity, I wanted to capture him alive. I didn't expect that guy to be so fragile. Qin Feng didn't care about it. Let him die. You take a rest first. Let me think about how to deal with these prisoners. While speaking, Qin Feng looked at the soldiers who were forced into the city and kneeling neatly under the city wall. Qin Feng counted them. There were quite a few captives left. A total of 45. This was not surprising. After all, Daisy adopted a decapitation tactic. She did not fight too much with other soldiers. Even, as she said, she originally wanted to capture them alive. Therefore, the move that killed Li Yu was actually the control skill, Thunder. Unexpectedly, Li Yu did not resist and died directly. But the soldiers under his command were all level 3, not so fragile, and did not die. Naturally, except for some people who were killed by Jing Leishan at close range at the beginning, there was no loss of personnel afterwards. His eyes swept over. Qin Feng said at this time, "Do you want to die or live?" The words fell. The captives below looked at each other. Then, a man named Wang Shu was the first to speak. "We are willing to surrender." As he spoke, the others also responded. This scene caught Qin Feng off guard. So easy to surrender. However, after thinking about it carefully, Qin Feng understood the reason why it was so simple. There are 3 reasons. First, of course, he is a human, and these captives are also human. Unless there is a deep hatred between the same race, it is easier to subdue. Second, Daisy showed strong military force, and the existence of the Eternal Wall, etc., revealing the strength of the territory. As the saying goes, people go to high places, and water flows to low places. Admiring the strong is the nature of living things. Of course, the most important reason is that they have just been recruited by Li Yu. Some of them were recruited this morning. Although, under the rules of the endless world, the initial loyalty of the recruited unit is full. But loyalty is loyalty, which only means that you will not betray when you are there. Now that Li Yu is gone, these soldiers have no object of loyalty, and loyalty has no effect. On the contrary, at this time, intimacy is very important. The higher the intimacy, the more soldiers will fight to the death even if the lord dies. For example, even if Qin Feng died at this moment, Daisy would never surrender, because at this moment, the intimacy between Daisy and Qin Feng has risen again, reaching 95 points. Even if Qin Feng died and Daisy was still alive, Daisy would find a way to avenge Qin Feng. However, it is difficult to improve intimacy. For example, Daisy, who is relatively easy to improve, can be improved more easily by giving some high-level items. For some difficult to improve, even giving things will not work. It really takes time to improve slowly. Some lords will also take measures such as eating and living with soldiers to increase this value. At the same time, improving the welfare benefits of the territory and increasing the sense of identity is also a way. Qin Feng finally chose to accept these people. Although, after acceptance, the loyalty of these surrendered soldiers will not be directly full. But in Qin Feng's view, this is not a big deal. Just cultivate them slowly. Moreover, the final result is better than Qin Feng imagined. The loyalty of these surrendered soldiers is around 60 points, which is considered to have reached a critical point. However, as the number of personnel increases, naturally, we need to consider the resettlement issue. Fortunately, I just earned 10,000 resources, otherwise it would be difficult to solve this problem. Back in the territory, the first thing Qin Feng did was to upgrade the huts where residents lived. A meal of resources consumption. A full 8,000 resources were used to upgrade all the simple wooden houses in the entire territory to level 3 inches advanced wooden houses. Advanced wooden houses have a double layer structure. The area is 3 times 3. But it can accommodate up to 8 people. That is, the current population limit of the territory has been raised to 320. At the same time, it also meets the prosperity requirements of the territory upgrade. Currently, there is only 10,000 points of upgrade resources away from the territory being upgraded to level 4. Let's follow the original plan and attack the wild camp. Then accumulate resources and pull 4 books today. Qin Feng was full of energy and immediately deployed manpower. After a while, in addition to the few people left behind, Qin Feng planned 7 teams. Then, he went directly to the direction of the wild camp. The light armored infantry was in the front, clearing the bushes on the road. On Qin Feng's side, there were 3 circles of shield sword soldiers inside and outside. Qin Dali and Wang Shu were in front and behind. This Wang Shu was the hero unit recruited by Li Yu before. Of course, because Qin Feng's territory is only level 3 at present, there is only 1 hero quota. Therefore, Wang Shu at this moment did not have the bonus of the hero unit. However, he is at the ace level after all, and his basic attributes are higher than other personnel, and his combat power is equivalent to Qin Dali. Basically, they all have level 33, which is the combat power of the early stage of level 4. In addition to this, Daisy is next to Qin Feng and protects him closely. After all, Qin Feng saw how Li Yu died before. At this moment, he dared not be careless. Just like this, he moved forward. Soon, a camp with a unique shape and surrounded by vegetation appeared in front of him. At this time, Qin Feng's eyes also showed the information of the camp. Giant Treeman Camp. Camp level. Level 6. Camp grade. Elite level. Description. After occupation, the sustainable output can reach up to level 60, and the level is Elite, Giant Treeman, with a very small probability of producing King-level Giant Treeman. Note: the output level is related to the territory. The current occupation can produce level 30 Giant Treeman. Not bad. Qin Feng's eyes lit up. A level 6 camp, that is, even before the territory reaches level 7, still has enough combat power. It can be used for a long time. And Qin Feng also knows about the Giant Treeman. This thing is one of the elves' arms. It has the characteristics of high defense and high health value. In the elves, it is second only to the mountain giant, and it is the most suitable to be used as the front row. Moreover, this thing is not a purely physical unit, but comes with a spell with powerful control capabilities. The elves have a tactical coordination, which is to let the archers in their tribe stand on the giant woodman and shoot. For long range, the archers are responsible for attacking. For defense, the giant woodman is very protective. Close combat. The biggest flaw of the giant woodman is that it lacks mobility, and it is eager for the enemy to attack it in close combat. After all, this thing, in terms of melee ability alone, is not inferior to some epic troops in terms of ace quality. Qin Feng's eyes swept across the huge camp in front of him. Sure enough, at the back of the camp, he saw a deep cave entrance. The entrance was very short, less than 1.5 meters. And, after careful observation, you can see that there are some sneaky figures appearing at the entrance of the cave from time to time. This kind of outdoor camp, naturally, it is not so easy to be occupied. Generally speaking, there are certain tests. Obviously, the dwarves stationed here are the test. Although, Qin Feng didn't quite understand what the dwarves had to do with the camp of the giant tree man. But it didn't matter. After thinking about it, Qin Feng gave the order directly at this time. Occupy the camp. He was very sure that as long as he approached the camp, the dwarves would appear by themselves. Sure enough, as his soldiers kept approaching, the dwarves who had been hiding in the cave finally couldn't hold back. They came out of the cave one after another. There were quite a few. There were as many as 30 or 40. Each of them had unkempt hair, big beards, thick necks, and although they were short, they were very sturdy and muscular. Moreover, each dwarf warrior was holding various war hammers, short-handled, long-handled, square, round, even ram-horn hammers, hexagonal hammers, etc. On the contrary, the equipment on their bodies, although they were armor, seemed to be due to lack of materials. Although they were well made, they were just ordinary iron armor. The detection technique was released at the first time. The strength was not weak. The combat rating of all personnel was in the range of 30 to 40 levels. Only one dwarf, who was the most sturdy, even slightly taller than him, reached level 42. Looking at the group of dwarves in front of him, Qin Feng was also a little frightened in his heart. He secretly said that it was fortunate that Li Yu had sent a wave of benefits first. Otherwise, with the previous battle lineup, it was really hard to say whether it could be easily taken down. After all, the dwarf leader in front of him, although not as strong as Daisy, is also at level 5, but one is at the early stage of level 5, level 41 to 43, and the other is at the peak of level 5, level 50. Of course, with the bonus of talent, Daisy's skills are more powerful, but it is not so easy to easily defeat the opponent. And the strength of other soldiers is not as good as other dwarf warriors. There is a possibility of overturning. However, this seems normal. After all, it is a wild camp, and it is elite level. It would be strange if the defense force was weak. Qin Feng was analyzing in his heart. At this time, the dwarf warrior spoke first. Human leader, please retreat quickly. We don't want to go to war with you. Qin Feng came to his senses after hearing this, and smiled. You should know that even if I retreat now, with the expansion of my territory, one day, I will still come here. Why do you stay here? Why don't you submit to me? This is the most correct choice. The dwarf leader frowned and said, please don't force us. We just want a quiet place to live. Qin Feng narrowed his eyes at this time, and then smiled coldly. This is not a negotiation. Or, you choose to fight. As Qin Feng's words fell, in an instant, the atmosphere became tense. One by one, the dwarf warriors raised their hammers, looking like they were ready to fight. However, this was within Qin Feng's expectations. He wanted to force the other party to make a choice. Otherwise, could Qin Feng really have a verbal battle with the other party? At the necessary moment, it is necessary to attack strongly. This is a knowledge point taught in every Lord course. A moment of silence, seeing that the atmosphere is getting more and more tense. At this time, after weighing the pros and cons, the dwarf leader gritted his teeth and said, Human Lord, you have more soldiers. The strength is not weak either. If we really fight, many of my people will definitely be killed or injured. I don't want that. Qin Feng smiled faintly. Since you know, then choose to surrender. The dwarf leader heard this and shook his head, but it's impossible for me to surrender so easily. Unless, there are people among your soldiers who can defeat me. Qin Feng smiled even more when he heard this, and said, your request is unreasonable. I can ignore you and start a war directly. But I am willing to give you this opportunity. Daisy, Qin Feng called softly, and then continued, don't kill me. Beside him, Daisy nodded gently and said with a smile, I understand. In the voice of answer, Daisy's figure has turned into a ray of lightning and dissipated beside Qin Feng. Then, he appeared in the open space where the two sides were facing each other. On the other side, the dwarf leader took a deep breath and strode forward. No extra nonsense. The next second, the dwarf leader took the initiative to attack, his muscles bulging, like a beast, rushing towards Daisy. Under the huge force, even where he pushed the ground to accelerate, a deep footprint was left. However, facing such an attack, Daisy was not at all confused, waving her staff. Strands of thunder instantly turned into chains, and then directly bound the dwarf leader who had just rushed halfway to the spot. The thunder chain released a sizzling electric current at this moment. Strands of thunder power flowed into the dwarf leader's body, paralyzing his body. Break it for me. The dwarf leader's cheeks were flushed at this moment, and the blood and energy in his body surged, but he broke free from the chains abruptly. He even forced out all the thunder power that had flowed into his body. White steam was emitting from his whole body. Ha! Daisy was surprised. Obviously, she didn't expect that her attack would be resolved. Seeing that the dwarf leader was charging again, Daisy's expression finally became more serious. In that case, thunder explosion. At this moment, Daisy finally released her skill. Unlike before, it was just a simple manipulation of elemental power. The power of the skill was naturally more outstanding. A purple-black thunder ball was stimulated and then exploded. Amid the roar, a figure flew backwards. It was the dwarf leader. He looked miserable at the moment, his whole body was charred, and even his beard had been burned by the lightning. The overall aura was much weaker at this moment. However, he still wanted to struggle to get up. However, at this time, Daisy had already flashed and came in front of him. At the same time, the staff pointed straight ahead, and strands of violent lightning gathered on the staff. You lost. Daisy's voice sounded at this moment. It's over. The strength of the dwarf leader is indeed not weak. But unfortunately, Daisy is stronger. And although Daisy is a magic hero, she controls the power of thunder. The thunder element is a relatively comprehensive one among the elements. The control method includes paralysis. In terms of speed, it is one of the best among the elements. The lethality is at the top level among the elements. The most important thing is, the master of the power of thunder is always tempered by thunder, and his physique will not be weak. It is a hexagonal panel. In addition, the strength is even stronger, so naturally, the dwarf leader cannot resist. Looking at the lightning flowing on the staff, the dwarf leader can only slowly lower his head and say, indeed. I lost. Qin Feng also got a hint at this time. Ding, the dwarf tribe is willing to surrender to you, do you accept it? Accept. Qin Feng responded decisively. With the successful incorporation. In the Lord panel, 36 more dwarf members were added. And at this time, looking at the dwarf leader who lowered his head and returned to the tribesmen. At this time, Qin Feng slowly walked out of the army. Then, he took out the wooden cylinder containing the water of life. Take it. It can heal your injuries. The dwarf leader was slightly stunned, but at this moment he was already Qin Feng's subordinate, so he naturally would not refuse. He directly unscrewed the lid of the simple wooden cylinder and drank the spring water in big gulps. After the spring water went down, a rich breath of life began to flow from his body. In just a moment, his originally burned and charred body was rejuvenated. All injuries were healed. Ding, the dwarf, Terry's loyalty to you increased by 20, current loyalty, 80. Ding, your behavior has aroused the favor of the dwarf tribe, and the favorability of all dwarves has increased slightly. As prompted, the loyalty of the dwarf leader in front of him has been greatly improved. The loyalty of other dwarves has also increased by 10 to 20 points. Basically, it has been raised from the passing level of 60 points when they were conquered to more than 70. With such loyalty, the possibility of rebellion is very small. As long as Qin Feng does not abuse them, he can slowly rely on time to let them completely integrate. Conquer this dwarf tribe. At this time, Qin Feng's eyes also looked at the wild camp in front of him again. At the same time, he asked, "By the way, why do you want to protect this thing?" On the side, the dwarf leader Terry thought about it and said, "This, I don't know. It seems that there is such an idea in my mind." Hearing this, Qin Feng stopped asking. He has understood. This is the result of the will of the endless world. The so-called spiritual treasures accompany evil things. Some places where treasures are born will have evil beasts protecting treasures. This is a rule of the endless world. He looked at the huge camp in front of him again. Qin Feng approached gradually under Daisy's protection. There were no accidents, until he walked to the front of the building. A prompt sounded. Ding, found an unowned outdoor building, do you want to occupy it? Occupy. Ding, congratulations on occupying the Giant Tree Man camp. Detailed information can be found in the outdoor camp panel. Under the prompt sound, Qin Feng opened the Lord panel and entered the second-level interface below, Outdoor Camp. The information in the second-level interface is very simple. It shows how many outdoor camps are currently occupied and what grade they are. And as the mind moved again, a more detailed information interface finally appeared in front of him. Giant Treeman Camp. Current level. Level 3/6. Camp radiation range. 50 × 50. Current effect. Automatically recruit a level 30 Giant Treeman every 6 hours, with a 90% chance of recruiting Elite grade and a 10% chance of recruiting King grade. Current camp inventory. Elite Giant Treeman, 12. King level Giant Treeman, 3. Free inventory recruitment. Next recruitment countdown. 5 hours, 43 minutes and 12 seconds. Note: the field camp is currently not protected by a novice shield, and troops must be sent to garrison. Read the entire camp information. Qin Feng recruited all the Giant Treemen in the camp inventory as soon as possible. Soon, as white light emerged, when the light dissipated, there were already 15 huge monsters standing around the camp. Among them, the 12 elite grade Giant Tree Men are about 5 meters tall, humanoid, standing on 2 feet, slightly hunched, and made of a huge tree trunk, wrapped with vines, and with some leaves on the vines. As for the 3 King grade Giant Tree Men, they are about 6 meters tall, and their overall appearance is similar to that of the elite grade, but they are more robust. The combat power rating of these Giant Tree Men is naturally not low. The comprehensive combat power rating, taking the elite level as an example, has reached level 30. But in close combat, the combat power rating can reach level 31. This seems to be a difference of 1 level, but it represents the difference between the peak of level 3 and level 4. As for the King level, it is stronger, and the average combat power rating is 3 levels higher than the elite level. It's a pity that it's not in its complete form yet. Otherwise, these Giant Treemen would be able to reach a height of more than 20 meters. But it's okay. At this stage, it's rare to have such a heavy military unit. What's more, this building can also grow with the territory upgrade. He sighed in his heart. At this time, Qin Feng opened the interface of the outdoor camp again. And then, he made some settings. Automatic recruitment, square root. Station at the original location after recruitment, square root. After this setting, Qin Feng doesn't need to be there in person every time. As long as the recruitment countdown of this camp is over, a Giant Treeman will be automatically recruited and stationed directly on the spot. After some settings, Qin Feng made some simple arrangements on the spot, including the establishment of 4 watchtowers, and a total of 12 archers, 8 Giant Treemen, and 12 dwarf warriors were left on the spot. All arranged properly. At this time, Qin Feng looked at the 8 Giant Tree Men who were going to stay in the camp and gave an order. Take root. As soon as the words fell, the 8 defending Giant Tree Men suddenly stretched out their roots from under their feet and sank directly into the ground. After a moment, the 8 Giant Tree Men stopped moving and completely turned into big trees. This is the innate skill of the Giant Tree Men. In the state of taking root, they can disguise themselves as big trees, speed up recovery, and reduce daily losses. The problem of the wild camp was properly settled, and some garrisons were added. Next, What needs to be done is to eliminate the possible threats in the surrounding area. However, Qin Feng does not need to participate in this subsequent battle. After Daisy sent him back to the territory safely, the remaining soldiers began to clear all kinds of monsters around on a larger scale. So, it seems that I have nothing to do for the time being. Take a nap. After all, there will be a big battle at night. Qin Feng yawned. A lot of things happened today. First, a plunder war was launched, and then the dwarf tribe was conquered and the wild camp was occupied. After a lot of tossing, it was almost noon, which was the time for a nap. And this nap woke up. It was already 2 hours later, when he walked out of the Lord's house again. At this moment, a vacant area reserved in the territory was piled with various kinds of beast meat. Obviously, this is the result of the hunting of the soldiers under his command during this period of time. Came to this pile of spoils. Qin Feng did not choose to recycle all of them directly. Instead, after a brief selection, he selected some of the better quality meat. For example, bear paws, pork ribs, chicken legs, etc. Then, he called several people in the territory with cooking skills and handed them these high-quality meats. Nowadays, the population of the territory has increased. He naturally couldn't prepare food by himself like yesterday. Every profession has its own expertise, and it's time to hand these things over to specialized people. After arranging these, at this time, Qin Feng began to recycle the spoils in front of him. Finally, when the recycling was completed, Qin Feng looked at the skyrocketing 4,000 resource points and smiled. Follow this progress. In 2 hours, we will be able to save enough resources to upgrade the territory to level 4. Add the income from winning the plunder war today, it should be considered relatively stable. Qin Feng pondered in his heart. Of course, he didn't think that he would definitely be the first. After all, now it is the second day, some powerful races will start to exert their strength. And the fact is just as Qin Feng expected. At this moment, the dragon territory where Bina is located, as the level of its territory is upgraded to level 3. The overall combat power of the entire territory has been qualitatively improved. In the territory, except for more than 10 dragon servants who seem to be tireless, the work efficiency is far beyond the ordinary laborers of the human race. And more importantly, at this moment, outside its territory, a black dragon is soaring in the sky, and below are dragon warriors with strong bodies and more obvious dragon characteristics. With the improvement of the territory, Bina can now recruit dragon blood warriors with a blood concentration of more than 50%. Each of these dragon blood warriors is at least ace level. And the black dragon soaring in the sky is a real dragon, which is the hero unit recruited by it. Such combat power, coupled with super high mobility. It only took half a day. Most of the monsters within a few thousand meters around the territory have been cleared. And this is still, as the Lord, Bina himself has not taken action. Otherwise, there will be 2 giant dragons wreaking havoc in all directions. After passing the early stage, it began to develop rapidly. There is also the Behemoth clan. This clan is similar to the Dragon clan, and both are top clans. The Lord itself is a legendary race. It belongs to the Orc clan, and can only recruit goblin units at the beginning. Not only is its strength extremely weak, but it is also easy to flee during battles. But as it passes the early stage, at present, it can already recruit soldiers such as werewolf. Moreover, the Behemoth Lord is not as lazy as the Dragon clan, and is extremely good at fighting. The Behemoth Lord directly goes out on his own, and now his level has been raised to level 25. And you should know that, in a sense, the Lord actually has the highest development ceiling. Especially the Lord of a powerful clan. The racial rank itself is extremely high. In addition to the subsequent unlocking of Lord skills, and the use of various spiritual objects to improve oneself. In the end, it can even have strength that exceeds that of a hero unit. And this type of development route, it is also called Battle Lord. The combat effectiveness of the territory is mainly based on the strength of the Lord himself. Territory competition. Before the final result is revealed, it is still unknown who will win. Qin Feng is very clear about this. In history, there are also some lords who were ahead in the early stage, but were eventually overtaken and fell. Therefore, after counting the resources, Qin Feng did not continue to rest, but began to think about the subsequent development plan. Today, if nothing unexpected happens, it can be upgraded to level 4 territory. But in the future, the difficulty of upgrading to level 5 territory will increase several times. So, the short-term goal is to win the reward of the resource competition first. Then, according to the situation, choose to stay at level 4 and strengthen the territory's strength, or directly impact the level 5 territory. Qin Feng thought carefully in his heart. Because, according to the summary of countless predecessors, after the resource competition, there are a total of 3 different types of competitions. They are war readiness competition, prosperity competition, and the final defense competition. Among them, the war readiness competition is naturally to see the improvement of the territory's combat power during the competition. This competition, to put it simply, is about blasting soldiers. But there are also skills to blasting soldiers. Whether it is to blast low-level soldiers or to focus on high-level soldiers, it is necessary to weigh them according to one's own resources. Whether it is at the 4th or 5th level, it also needs to be weighed. I was thinking in my heart. At this time, the door of the hut was knocked. What's the situation? Qin Feng was a little confused. After all, under normal circumstances, no one would knock on the door. Daisy's words, he directly gave the access permission and would enter the house directly. With some doubts, after opening the door, Qin Feng seemed even more confused. Because, standing outside the door, it turned out to be an ordinary citizen of the territory. What's the matter? Qin Feng frowned and asked. Lord, an old man said he passed by here and wanted to come in and rest for a while. Hearing this, Qin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. Because he already knew what the situation was. Immediately, he walked out of the room and strode towards the city wall. As expected, when he saw the appearance of the old man outside the city, Qin Feng confirmed his guess. It was the mysterious businessman who came to the door. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.